Good afternoon, everybody. Okay. I'm here to talk about wealth creation. God will help me láti máa yí papọ̀ so that I can carry the without speaking people along also. So let's start with the word of prayer. In Jesus' name, Almighty Father, the creator of heaven and earth, the one who owns everything and gives everything, we thank you for this afternoon. Lord, we want to go into your word. You are the one that teaches us even to make money, to make wealth. Father, Lord, as we discuss today, we ask that your unction from above will be released unto us in the name of Jesus. Father, Lord, more than anything, we want to see you. We want you to speak to us, to teach us, even more than ever before, Lord. You will illuminate our minds as to what can make us in a godly way to make good of our living here financially in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Almighty Father, for everything. In Jesus' mighty name, we are free. So good afternoon once again. And I want to always start by giving thanks to God for this opportunity. And also, I want to thank the executive committee of this fellowship, as well as the entire membership, for this opportunity for me to talk to us. Now, the first question is, ta ni nínú wa ló wà níbí tí ó nílé owó? So I'm asking all of us, ta ni nínú wa ń bí báyìí ní ò nílé owó? In fact, fọ́jọ́ kan péré, kìí ṣe for long, just for one day, ta ló lè live without money? Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ bá kàṣà àti jí báyìí, kò ní ìdẹ́ni tuntun pàṣẹ mò ń. Because very well, if you know you don't need money, èyàn ò ní wẹ̀, that is where it starts. O ní mọ́mi, because whether you like it or not, water as little as insignificant as it is comes at a cost. Or ṣé ẹ̀ àbí pẹ̀lú mi? No, sorry, ṣé ẹ̀ àbí pẹ̀lú mi? Because you look at it, you must have paid something to dig whether the borehole or the well in your house. Kọ́ọ̀pù kẹ́ lọ fi gbà lẹ́nu táàpù àbí tẹ́ fi gbà owó lẹ fi ra o. Ṣé understand? Àlejò náà lè tèmi pé gbà èmi kẹ̀mí ní mo ní ìlú rẹ̀. Tó bá tẹ̀lé ìsìdí lórí bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wá wọ bàtà pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ṣe é lọ kalẹ̀. Bàtà tó wọ̀ yẹn. Ó dà kọ́ tẹ̀ná fún yẹn. So no matter how you try, you cannot do without money. So let's understand that very well. And why do I want us to start like this? I see a common mistake in Christendom. A máa ń wo owó gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí ò dáa. And I'm very, very serious about it. We look at money as nǹkan ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yìí. That's the way we look at money. And please, that is where I want us to start from. Money is very good. In fact, lẹ́yìn salvation wa, if you understand money very well, it is the next thing for you, so that wàá lè ní a very good salvation journey. Let's hold that very well. After your salvation, godly wealth is the next thing after your health. Because when we are talking about wealth, it starts with good health. Now, if we now all have agreed that yes, we need money, the standpoint is now this: what does God say about money? Then please, I want us to start writing our questions. I know it's a mixed audience. We have old people, we have retirees, we have young people, we even have people that are still in school. So please, let's get our questions ready. I will try as much as possible. We are going to devote at least 50% of this session to questions. At least 50%. I will try. So let's now go ahead. And we'll be going to the Bible, so let us be ready. Let us take Deuteronomy 8:18 first. what is the perspective of God about wealth, about money? Deuteronomy 8:18. Thank you very much, sir. That is the first thing. And to disabuse our mind that money is bad. In fact, the language used there is not money. It is what? Wealth. And we know the stages. Wealth. Now, this was a covenant made with our father. Who is that our father? Abraham. If you are indeed a Christian, a child of God, it is not what you should see as wrong for you to have money. But the koko there is that Olúwa ló ń fún wa ní agbára láti ní ọrọ̀. Hope you understand that. So everything starts with God. Because without Him, in our own space, you cannot have what we call good wealth. Let's note it. We are talking about the God-given wealth. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀nà ló wà all around that we see, that we hear. We will see what happens to those ones too as we go in this study. I'm adding the potential to you. So now let's take Matthew 6:33 also. Let's take Matthew 6:33.
But before the kingdom of God and the journey of them, and all things shall be added to you.
Thank you very much. Sharing, understanding, nǹkan àkọ́kọ́ ní ìjọba ọ̀run. When you seek Him first, diligently and truly, all these other things, good health, marrying, having money, helping people, will now fall in place and will be easy for us. Now, what are the substances? When God blesses you, the right motive is, it is a tool. Do you understand what I mean by wealth is a tool? Nǹkan èlò láti ṣe iṣẹ́ ni. Nǹkan èlò láti ṣe iṣẹ́. That is what wealth is. Wealth is not mo ń sáré ìgbésẹ̀ mo ń lọ sí ibẹ̀. No. For some people it's a destination that yes, mo ti débẹ̀ ní ìsìn báyìí. Mo ti ní nǹkan tí mo fẹ́, mo ti get here. Misbehavior àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀. But having wealth is like ohun èlò. What we can term like a tool. For instance, tá a bá fẹ́ change táyà mọ́tò, a máa wá wí spanner. Nǹkan báyìí ni ọ̀rọ̀ jẹ́. Kì í ṣe nǹkan tó jẹ́ fòkè ló ti débẹ̀. No. Understand, if it is something like, okay, I'm now there. Why do you hear of, so to speak, we'll give examples from, so to speak, wealthy people. Why would you hear of somebody like Dangote hearing that, okay, ó tún lọ sí ilé-iṣẹ́ kan níbi kan? Don't you ask yourself? For some people, I'm sorry to say, they will say olójúkòkòrò ni, kí ló tún fẹ́ ní? Hope you understand. Olójúkòkòrò ni kí ló tún fẹ́ ní, kí ló tún fẹ́? That is for the people that do not understand that wealth is not a journey. It is a tool. Because you see, when you have something that is a tool, as little as this spanner, àbíjá àfiṣe jẹ́. Tẹ́ ẹ bá rí lè tó rọrùn díẹ̀ pé ẹ̀sán ṣẹ̀bọ́ fún nǹkan yóò sì gbé sókè. Táǹfààní ẹ̀ bá wà ẹ̀ ní ìràdì. You get it? Shey you understand? Now, you see for such that understands the rudiment of wealth. I'm sorry to say, I'll be crisscrossing religion. I'm sorry. Don't let us be too dogmatic and say, ìgbàlá ìgbàgbọ́ ni. Lóòótọ́ aláìgbàgbọ́ ni. Àmọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí Kìrìsìtẹ́nì tòótọ́, when you see something that is good in whoever, please, you should try and do it in your own way. Things that are good. We understand what I'm saying. ohun tó bá dára kẹ́ ẹ bá dára láì gbàgbọ́ gbẹ̀gbẹ̀. So many times you see some Christians and you see their behaviour. Sincerely, you will not be aláìgbàgbọ́ and say màá fẹ́ faramọ́ yín ju àwọn èèyàn tiwa lọ. Ṣé ẹ ti understand? So I'm just trying to lay a foundation. Now, the next thing now that we're going to look at is, having understood God's reason for granting wealth, the godly reason for having wealth, the next question is that I want to pose to all of us. So let's raise our hand. Àwọn tí a bá mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ wípé ó ṣeé ṣe pẹ̀lú orí ọ̀fẹ́ mi. Sincerely, I'm telling us the truth. This is where it starts. Not because I want to call anybody out. Some people are raising their hands reluctantly. Some people are not even raising their hands. Some people are looking at it that èmi kọ́ nọ́mbà sọ. I'm sorry, this is where it starts. And I will tell us for free. That is the way the Lord has made the world to be. Not everybody will be wealthy. Not all of us. Kìí ṣe gbogbo wa, ẹ má jẹ́ ká tanra wa. Because look at it. Bá a ṣe wà ní ayé nìyí, Ọlọ́run dá wa lọ́kùnrin dá wa lóbìnrin. For some ọkùnrin ẹlòmíì tí ilẹ̀ ọ̀gá tí ìkùn dáì kò tí ì tẹ́ lọ́rùn. And àwọn míì irun mi gan báyìí afro mi lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Ṣé ẹ ti understand nǹkan tí mo ń sọ? So afro oríṣiríṣi. Oníkálùkù ní èèyàn eléyìí tí ó bá fẹ́. And it starts from when you are small. It starts from when you are small. So don't let us look at it and say, my wealth journey, I want to start. Yes, we are all not similar. Oríṣiríṣi ìgbà ni àgbéyàní ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀ máa wá tààjẹ̀ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ journey yẹn. But for some people láti kékeré ni. For some people at 50 ni. For some people at 30 ni. But the koko is the consciousness should first come that I want this thing in the godly way. Let us mark that. It has to be in the godly way. So if that is settled, the next question will now be, okay, tí Ọlọ́run bá ṣàánú, if you get this wealth, what are your plans on it? Ṣáàlì ronú fún mi 30 seconds pípé, tọ́lọ́run bá fi ẹ̀ ṣe mú dáadáa, nǹkan báyìí, tá a bá lè kọ́ sílẹ̀, I will appreciate it. Tá a bá lè kọ́ sílẹ̀ pé ó wù mí, màá ṣe nǹkan báyìí, màá ṣe nǹkan báyìí. Tá a bá lè kọ́ sílẹ̀, I will like it. Ẹ ṣeun. Now, bá a ṣe ń fa àwọn nǹkan tó wù wá yẹn, ipò òkè o, tọ́lọ́run bá bùkún mi, èyí tí màá ṣe, tí màá ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ ká try ìnídà kejì náà. Let us try and write those things that ní ṣe. Hope you understand that. Let's try and write those things that, okay, no matter how much tọ́lọ́run bá ṣe bùkún mi, mi ò ní fi ṣe nǹkan báyìí, mi ò ní fi ṣe nǹkan báyìí, mi ò ní fi ṣe nǹkan báyìí. Let's try and write. Very good. We will not be saying it out, we will not be reading it out. These are the things that we will look at when we are that old, that the grace of God, and all of this will help us to take a decision and to work on lágbára Ọlọ́run. Now, let's now go to the practical ways. Practical ways. Because we are talking about wealth creation, there is a step to it. Nípa ìní ọrọ̀ ní ọ̀nà tó tọ́, number one rule is it is gradual. It is gradual. Process you have to need step by step. Step by step. It is not a situation whereby you just do something overnight, the money is there. Real wealth that is to be created do not come in that manner. There is a process. Only then you should now move láti first level. Yes, of course, if you ṣe kọ́lọ̀ àti gbé síwájú ẹ̀dá àti bíà, Johnny tó ń bẹ̀ yóò stage 1, stage 2 rárá. But you that you are following it, you will see that later, maybe after the now that means bá a ṣe ń bá kí ní ìbọ̀ step by step by step by. There are stages to it. It is not something tí tí wàá kàn ṣubú lówó lòdì bí Yorùbá ṣe máa ń sọ. It doesn't happen like that, because that understanding will help you so that you don't run too much, you don't miss stages whereby will now make you to fall down again. Now, what are those stages? It always starts with, let's look at Habakkuk 2, verse 2 now.
And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon table, that he may run that students to it.
This is the start point for your gradual progress. What this is trying to say is, pick on something tí mo fẹ́ ṣe. Look at what you want to do dedicatedly. Let's talk about our country, Nigeria. Examples: agriculture, social media. At least our children, we all know that. Food distribution. Now, I will always say food distribution because I thank God that's where I found myself. Food distribution. Now, you see, there are certain things that happens that helps us to see better. Please, people of God, especially, I'm sorry to say, our Tabakawi, do not let our being learned be a disadvantage to us. I would just want to say a little story. I worked in a food company before God helped me with what I'm doing now. These people, they are not learned, so to speak. Àwọn ìyálọ́jà àbí sọ̀rọ̀ nípa. That's the way we see them. That àwọn ìyálọ́jà tí wọ́n lọ school tí wọ́n mọ̀ nǹkan kan. Sincerely, wọ́n lè má mọ̀ nǹkan kan. But what we are talking about now in terms of building wealth, they can be professors in Harvard. So yẹ kí wọ́n lè má lè sọ ní English o tẹ́ bá jókòó tí wọ́n ideas wọn máa put forward. Now we look at all of these businesses and say, mi ò lè máa ta ajá kọ́bọ̀kọ́bọ̀. While I was in the office, I see what they do and I look at it and say, gbogbo kí ni ìgbà ṣé wọ́n ń ta ọjà yìí? You know, by the time you see the money, the amount, ṣé wọ́n ń ta ọjà yìí ṣá? And at the end of the quarter, I know what we give them that. Yes, on my part was there, but for many of my colleagues, nobody ever thought about it. Èmi ń jókòó sí ọmọ ìka tí wọ́n gbà ní sálárì. Àwọn obìnrin ìyá ajá ìgbé àbúkà wà lọ́pọ̀ conference bá rí wa. Ọ̀gá ẹkúnṣẹ́ ẹṣẹ́ ẹlòmíà fúnlẹ̀ ìpínlẹ̀ pé ẹlòmíà lára wọn. The respect will be so much. But of course, what you see them earn in a month, kò kí ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ ẹni. Ẹlòmíì ni wa lọ́dún márùn-ún, a lè má gbà. Yes, àmọ́ pé later you don't understand gbogbo ẹ̀ náà kọ̀ léèrè. You should understand. But still, that was the pointer to the fact that there are certain things that people do that you see. When, so to speak, we started in equality way, I now started seeing young people that are working with these people, and I was seeing what they were shaping. People can do things like this. That is very legitimate, and they are making money like this. Now, the first thing, focus is on God. Do not do what is wrong. Then the other thing that we are going to talk about is diligence. Anything téèyàn bá fẹ́ ṣe, no matter what. We have talked about agriculture. We have spoken about food distribution and internet, all this internet stuff. Diligence in the sense that o gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀. I used to make a joke that mo ń lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ lágbè kílẹ̀ nǹkan. No, sincerely, but I will tell all of us, ó tó láti kọ́. You understand? Ó tó láti kọ́. The only difference will now be our learned will now be that táwọn bá ń kọ́ nǹkan tí ò dáa mọ́, àti táwọn bá ń kọ́ in good manners, by the time you are there for just a month, even just a week, òye ìwé tí èèyàn kà á make difference. Kò kàn ní dédé make difference o, you will consciously go there and make a difference. Ṣé ọ̀nà tí a tẹ̀sí wọn sọ? You don't go there so that you now become part of them. That is the mistake ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń make. With your good education, everything like that, when you get into a business, you join the business. Bó ṣe ń ṣe, ìwọ náà máa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Whether you should join them, sit back again, bring the wisdom from being a child of God, bring the wisdom from the education that you have, join it with their own. Kò sí, you are going to surpass them. Definitely. And this applies in all spheres of life. Let me give us an example. We have to start thinking, what are my strengths? Oníkálùkù ní bíbá, I always tell my children in the school that Sherry, kò sẹ́ni tí ò good sí nǹkan kan. Ẹ̀fẹ̀ lè meet in class, báwo lọ ni ṣe ń teach báyìí? Kìíní kankan kò kọ́ mọ́ dáadáa. Táǹfààní bá wà, ẹ̀fẹ̀ research ní ìwò, ó lè ṣe dáadáa. Because ẹ ti máa rí gbà ó láìpẹ̀ yàyà bó ṣe ń lọ síbi ló ń gbọ́sọ̀ ọ̀hún. Put this person in this other thing, that ṣe dáadáa. And sincerely on some occasions, practical occasions, mo ti rí kó ṣiṣẹ́ dáadáa. Ẹ kàn waste talent ẹ̀ ní. For instance, there are some of our teachers tí wọ́n dájọ́ wà school. They are between now in either Òṣogbo àbí Nìbàdàn. Ẹ kàn ń pa sí ẹ̀yìn ní kíláàsì ẹ̀ lọ́fíìsì. Kò ní yẹ kó lọ kò ní yẹ kó kọ́ ọmọ níwọ̀n àbá tó lè kọ́. But the person is doing a lot better níbi tá àǹfààní wà láti títí sí. If I'm not mistaken, I think like 3 of them like that. Láàrú though some of them have gone láàrú go on school tó padà bọ̀ sí ẹlòmíì tó láti jẹ́ pé the other way around ẹni yẹn ṣe mú ìdí tiẹ̀ láti ọmọ pàdé school kẹfẹ́ service. Such people, they found themselves back in the school. So Sherry, you will be doing yourself a lot of good if you know where your strength lies. If you know where your strength lies. And please, I've said something. It's good to start early. But there is nothing wrong for you starting wherever tó bá ti káyàn mọ́ tí consciousness yẹn bá ti wà awaken. No matter what stage you have, àmọ́ wá ti dàgbà jù. Kò sẹ́ni tó dàgbà jù láti retrace pẹ́ẹ́pẹ́ for things to be better. Let's take a case. Now, you look at it that tí o bá ń kọ́ lórí ìsìn a máa ń yọ ṣọ́ọ̀bù síwájú. Have you ever asked ourselves, ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù kájọ́ pé lè márùn-ún wà ní gbogbo ayọ̀ ṣọ́ọ̀bù síbẹ̀ ta ní ìrajà lọ́wọ́ dání? Hope you understand. Let us not continue this practice of nǹkan báyìí náà sọ pé ló ń ní ìsìn àbí ló ń tà ní ìsìn. What we should rather do is, okay, nǹkan báyìí ló ń tà ní tòótọ́. Báwo lè ní ṣe ìdí tèmi kò díẹ̀? Ṣé understand? For instance, when that thing was getting so much, you would have noticed, even in the area where I play, suddenly you started seeing people tán dé ọjà lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn retailers ẹgbẹ́ fúnra wọn. They were taking it to them physically. Instead of àwọn tá a máa dúró, àwọn tá a ti ẹ̀kú sí lọ́jà. Ọjà tí wá dàbí tẹ́lẹ̀ rà ní. Ṣẹ́gẹ́jà ọlọ́run nígbà wá tọ́jà. We are not in the market. But people are still coming to us. Now, we now notice that some people were now coming up. They were now taking the product pẹ̀lú mọ́tò to those people that were coming to buy, even in Adewole. Adewole ilẹ̀, gbogbo ala ilẹ̀. The knowledge there is, rather than say, okay, ó yá, ẹ lọ ra mọ́tò. Nǹkan táwọn náà ń ṣe, ó yá, ẹja bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe. That is not the way to do business. The only thing we just did then was, I now look at it, ṣe ti ṣẹ́ta ń ṣe náà ni, mo máa tún láìkí ọgbọ́n yìí o. We didn't buy any motor, but we developed a website and also started selling. But do you know something? When we started, I will discuss with my wife and grandmother. Me understand what I'm doing, because I'm looking at it, this thing is not self-sufficient. And if you look around today, not for anything, kí lọ notice pa àwọn model yẹn, they have all stopped. They have all stopped because if it is the same thing that we are doing, we know what the margins are. We call it FMCG. It is just fast moving consumer goods. So imagine the one there. So that margin, if you are not careful with it and you do blah 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 too much, at the end of the day, you are going to burn your fingers. So what I'm saying in this is that you don't always want to make a change without doing your studies very well. And without that care, go into it. Just to buttress the fact that yes, it's good to do your things in a different way, but make sure you understand that your model very well. Don't say because you will so you will not say you want to be delivering. Oh, factor, oh, delivering. Oh, factor, where some other things you are doing. Oh, factor, oh, one time at any same price, but let it go on with the share understand what you want. Cost of servicing and cannot be as much as the person that is moving up and down. It's like the case of supermarket. Why do supermarket charge more for a tin of milk than Maton Kalori Ape? Sorry, Kalori Ape. Why do they charge more? Sorry, Mike.
Because they must have added the additional cost, like the transport fare from the distributor, then some of them even have staff, salary, electricity bill, energy.
Thank you so much, sir. That is why. But you now know something in business. We call something positioning. Sharing. You can, when you are left around, come out and come now. With gladness, you walk into that big shop. You will pay 30% more. Not only will you pay 30% more, you have to do 30. So you understand? You still be spending money on our hairtime because they have positioned themselves in a way that anybody that comes here, they are playing on our side. For some of us, you understand? For some of us, they are playing on our side, and our last sorry, that is all. When we are going to just right, shop right, best clothes, and when you want to walk, you look at it. It is getting better. There was a time we were in Michigan. When she said, Mr. Boots for you. I'm sorry, I'm not making mouth. Can you hear some new Michigan and one wa? Come back, what Mr. Boots and why you if you get recording, I was not telling you, hey, Mr. Boots will open. They will come and say, yeah, your name. Yes, I said, don't go to if you tell them, kẹ́ẹ̀tọ́ orí ìdẹ̀jẹ̀ kọ́lọ́ má jẹ́ kí èèyàn ṣubú lórí ìdúró. Ṣé ẹ understand? Tán bá ẹgbẹ́ tó máa ń ṣe ní ShopRite, then you know the way it is in Ibadan. But today, sorry to say not for anything, when they mention ShopRite now, I'm sure some of our young people don't want ShopRite. Ṣé you understand? So that is still the validity of the process. There, it is not a competition. It is not a competition. Now, if we now get that, the business I want to do, you are moving in the process. If you are moving along with the process, the next thing will now be, what are those things after diligence? We now take what we call financial management. Please, this is very important. Financial management is bó bá ṣe dé kọ́lé yẹn ṣe máa ń ná o. Now, oníṣẹ́ oṣù ní it is a rule. Iṣẹ́ oṣù different, and please, there is something tí Yorùbá máa ń sọ. Iṣẹ́ dé aláṣejẹ, owó aláṣelà. Ṣé ẹ rí ẹ má jẹ́ ká tanra wa. It is progressive. Ààyè iṣẹ́ wà, ààyè òwúdẹ́ wà. Let's look at it very well. Many people that are into businesses today were actually at a point salary earners. If they were not good salary earners, they can never be good business people. Please, let's look that. Never degrade, never look down on yourself that because you are a salary earner, you cannot make it. I will be very, very candid with us. Ẹni tí ò lè manage 50 naira for 50,000 naira salary, tán bá fún ní 1 million lóṣù, á ní ìwé gan. Ìfá rẹpẹtẹ. So the golden rule is this. It might sound unachievable, very, very verbose, but sincerely it is the truth. No matter what you are earning, in as much as it is regular, you are compelled to save every month. Ṣé àwọn mímì compare? Ó di dandan. Ó di dandan. No, don't start saying that 10,000 is that issue. Why is this so? I've worked in places tí driver nílé ọ̀gá ẹ̀ tó ń wà kò nílẹ̀. Ṣé you understand? A driver has a home that he stays his personal home, but the oga that he drives does not even have a landed property. How do you explain that? That is where financial management comes in. Please, when it comes to money, live below your means. Nǹkan tí mo sọ ni pé tó bá di ọ̀rọ̀ owó bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa náwó sí ó gbọ́dọ̀ kéré ju bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lówó lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ for anybody that wants to make financial progress in life. Let us get away from this standpoint of Mupegekari. I said it before, financial journey is not a race. It is a tool kò kí ń ṣe destination sáré lọ bí kankan. Ohun èlò ni. Hope you understand that. Ohun èlò ni kò kí ń ṣe pé mò ń sáré lọ bí kan rárá. And that is why you see real people that understand wealth making. As you are seeing them here, you are seeing them there, you are seeing them here. Because they know that it is a journey that never ends. If you want to keep that tool working, it is a journey that does not end. It doesn't have a destination. And in that way, okay, I'm working. I want to make my first million. Okay? First million. When you now do that, you will now shout all over the world that finally I've made it. By the time you are celebrating, enter your first million. Kó padà dé, òun ti kúrò níbẹ̀. So please, let's understand money that you are not making money because you are running somewhere new. And now, we have been saying that what are the right uses or use to your care of food? You see. Still, let us not forget, we are still on that process of how do you move from a level to another level. Diligence, good financial management. Please, I wouldn't want us to waste too much time doing your financial management team. In fact, on that one alone, I can talk for 5 hours. Because this is where many people miss it to priorities. Fóònù jáde màá rà. Ó wà máa lo fóònù fún àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ àti ìrírá. One thing that I read from and is very true is that, Sherry, for people that do not understand money, the first start with àwọn èèyàn ń wò mí, wọ́n ń waṣọ tí mo wọ̀, wọ́n ń bàtà tí mo wọ̀ sẹ́sẹ́ nǹkan kan. Ibi tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ti máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni ẹni tó lọ́run bá rán lọ́wọ́ tó bá kúrò ní lẹ́bù yẹn sincerely tó bá dẹ̀ lọ́lọ́run the sky is the limit. Sincerely, tí èèyàn bá ti wá tóbi irú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ bá tóbi 50 years, you know what will happen? They will now realize pé àṣepò sẹ́ni tó ń wò mí. Sincerely, that is when you now realize pé olúwa àṣepò sẹ́ni tó ń wò mí. Let me tell you the truth. If you can see that video, go and play it back. The date Dangote in ṣí refinery fóònù ẹ mọ àwọn fóònù kékeré wa Nokia yìí, yes ma thank you àtẹnà sọfẹ ó ló wà lọ́wọ́ if you can see that video, please go and look at it. Ó ní fóònù tí ó wà ní ọwọ́ ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ àṣẹ èèyàn ṣí factory in fact bàtà ìjọba jẹ góòlù. No, sincerely, for some people, they are opening a factory, the only one in Africa that is that big. And the phone you are holding that big was just a Nokia 3310. And you can be very sure, sharing phone over the today, can't that be 200 phone you talk? Could they share Katumashi? Share that type of money. But that is the way of somebody that knows that money is a tool. Because no year. Nǹkan tó máa rò wípé refinery yìí nìsín iye báyìí ló ti yá, iye báyìí ni màá sọ padà lóṣù tí ń bọ̀ lórí 2 months time, iye báyìí sọ padà láwọn ará yìí fóònù ló kàn. He only wore a palm sandal. She understand? But for some people, o tí ìdèbí kankan o ti ń dá dìbò láàmú. No, sincerely, we should correct that perspective. You have not really gotten to any level in your attainment of a particular tool. Check, you understand? O ti ń wá distracted, o ti ń look away. Please let us all set ourselves. In so many ways we do that. In so many ways we do that. Not for anything. Ṣé ni àwọn decision support jẹ́ pé ó le àmọ́ ó yẹ. I was not saying with all humility, not for anything. I did not have a land of my own before we came to school. I think we will not see my baby yet. But that's what has helped us in the school. Charity adoration. Because what we looked at then is that when we are in the process of God, He teaches, He leads. How that decision came about, me what I should decide. She understand, but we just got lost in it that it is more important. We got lost in that it is more important. And sincerely, all thanks to God. And that's why I say the first thing is get into the program of God so that things will flow well. There were opportunities. Even at the point, there was time we built a factory and I was on the team. They were offering me like, and you take a to the upper factory. So I said, so after you see, kill it and let me share it. Don't you say what is in that? You will be first in there. Ṣé ẹ understand? Because nǹkan tó wà lọ́kàn mi nígbà yìí ni pé nǹkan tí à ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ ó ní a focus, and that is another thing. At the initial stage, please make sure you are focused. And one thing again is, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, I beg us in the name of God, do not let fear take you in anything. Take decisions. Ṣé pé ìwọ dáhùn ẹ pé mo ti kọjá ìyá ara mi in the right direction. I want to say something today that will show a joy of blessed memory. Ìjọ ta get ilẹ̀ primary school yẹn tá à ń ṣe dedication pé afẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Daddy was already with them. Gbogbo wa ṣàṣe dúró sí dáadé ń ṣe kí ló dá ń pè. Daddy ṣáà jókòó síbi àwọn ìyòpè àtìrín kan tá a ṣàkójọ ńgbà yẹn tá a ṣàwọ̀ ẹ̀gbẹ́. Ní ìwọ̀n bóyá lọ bá wọn jẹ̀ ní àbí wọ́n ṣáà muster courage láti wá. Daddy said, Sanya tó sì, nǹkan tẹ́ gbé sí ìgbà state project ni o, agbára yín ò ká. And sincerely, mi ò lè parọ́ fún yín, ó dàbí ẹni tó ń ṣe àṣejù nígbà yẹn. As part of the money tá a ṣáà fi sí ilẹ̀, wọ́n rántí dáadáa ọwọ́ ọkọ̀ bí ìgbìmọ̀, ẹni tá a jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní báńkì nígbà yẹn ni mo ti yàwó yìí. Ṣé understand? Mo yáwó mo ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú assistance tari here and there. It is not always easy when you are committed to this kind of job. Please let us note that. A lot of deniers. One of our daddies who came to meet us then, in fact, that person who was said, máa encourage ọkọ ẹ o, nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe, nǹkan táwọn ẹgbẹ́ yín á máa try láti ṣe in years to come. Òun ni. But as I will always say, kì í ṣe é plan enough. What I'm just trying to do with this is sharing. Do not think anything is too big for you to accomplish, especially if you are a child of God. If you are a child of God, don't think anything is too big. Come on, sọ̀rọ̀ owó kan wá tó bí ìyẹn ṣe fáwa. Yes, ó lè má rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ìsìn. But let it think in your mind that Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú mo ṣe ń ṣe èmi náà ni. Hope you understand. Those are very important things. Financial management, patience, knowing the reason for wealth. Very good. Now, how do you now apply the wealth? Before we go into questions. Then let us not forget something, please. I've said it. It is compulsory we steal. Okay, let me ask. How many of us here do save on a monthly basis? Or how many of us here later you saving? Savings as in owó ta yọ sọ́fẹ̀ pé àfin fọwọ́ kàn. Okay. Sorry, ẹjọ́ ṣé máa kọ́ ẹ má bínú àwa tí àfin save ẹjọ́ ṣé mo lè gbọ́ 1 or 2 reasons why you find it difficult to save? Sorry, àwa tí ànáwó sókè ìṣàlẹ̀ náwó sókè ìrìnsìn not for anything please ẹjọ́. Ta ló lè oblige ya reasons why it is difficult to save? Àwọn èèyàn náwó wọn. Okay, should I help us? Expenses pọ̀. So expenses tó pọ̀ yẹn ṣé tán ní? Please, I know it is difficult. I'm not trivializing it. I am not. Expenses will always be there. And please, I would not want us to turn our living into a rat race. Rat race ní pé bọ́ọ̀lù ṣe ń ná kan tán ni wàá ti máa wò pé tó yá send down the rate. No, sincerely, if we are seated here and ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyẹn, please, we need to pray seriously. It is not the plan of God for his children that you are, so to speak, empty before you get another. If one is not careful, you go on like that, like that, like that. I said something now, and briefly before I go to application, I will want us to say something. Okay, no, let's conclude before I go to that. As God and he blesses you, please do not ever make that mistake. He has only given to you as a steward. As part of you using it as a tool to operate the machine, maybe the business you're doing, one paramount thing is that you are mandated to give. You are mandated to give. And you know the secret of giving. Anything that 50,000. I'm sorry to mentioning that figure. And then anything that 20,000. Tó wò ó pé kí náà ni. That has now taken it that okay 20,000 nígbà 60 ilé ìfún ẹnì kankan. The person has every reason ní ilé parọ́ fún yín o. Because ìgbà tó kọ gbogbo ẹ̀ tó tọ́ minus nílé at the end of the month. But should I tell you the truth? Ìwọ tó o lè san táì káàkiri láti di táì. O lè san táì to 20,000 which is 2,000. Àbí? Tọ́lọ̀ bá bílẹ̀tì pẹ̀lú 1 million. Èló ní táì fẹ́rẹ̀ jẹ́. Ṣé kí n ṣe tọ́lọ̀ fún yín? Irú ẹni yẹn. Ẹ palẹ̀ pa. Kò ní san. No, so then it starts from there. That is where it starts from. You can't pay tithe of 20,000 and say, God bless you. God bless you. No, sorry. We know the way God is. Our marriage is what we do to make him happy. But sorry, there are certain things that we need not deceive ourselves. They are very good. You are a Christian, you have alluded to it that you pay to your tithe. When you were earning 20,000, you were very faithful. Sincerely, I'll take hold of it. even tó ń san 2,000 láyé 20,000 láti mú 100,000 jáde nínú 1 million á tètè ọ̀fẹ́ not now talk of someone tó ń gba 20,000 tí ò lè yọ 2,000 wá ní pé 100,000. I doubt if people like that will to do it. That is the first thing. Now, aside from that, you might not do it on a monthly basis, but have it in mind. You must give to people. Please, I'm begging us. Not out of compulsion, but out of the leading of the Lord. You know who to give and what to give. Shall you understand me? Because surely it is there. Who are you? Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at Luke 6:38. Luke 6:38. To the extent, make sure you have a giving plan. Make sure you have a giving plan as you make it. Okay.
And it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over, shall men give in your bosom. For with the same measure that you met without, it shall be measured to you again.
Thank you very much, man. Please, this is very important. And in a way, maybe because we Christians, we are used to, okay, keeping things quiet, not announcing things. I have a feel that Muslims understand this more than we do. God, she understand. Maybe that's why. But sincerely, Muslims, they understand this more than we do. And the Lord actually helps those that helps others. And when we are saying you should be, that is not what we are saying. You give in a way that you make sure that it is the Lord that leads you. That is how you give. Sincerely and truly, I would say make sure have a giving plan. Bó jẹ́ 1,000 lẹ́yìn afford Ọlọ́run máa pe ní tòótọ́ pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí ọmọ mi yìí rí ó ń ṣe dáradára pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ń ṣe. But for you to now say ibo ní ìtìrí. In this life, if you don't know, no matter how rich, no matter how poor you are, do you know the analogy? You are always in the middle. If you look very well, some people are ahead of you. And if you look very well too, you are better off than 1,001 people. So, our Torah, please, in the name of the Most High God, keep them in your plan. Keep them in your plan. Ensure that the Lord leads you after that you. And don't let us make a mistake. It does not mean that you cannot give to someone that you perceive people need you alone. We always make that mistake. That once you see that this person, okay, you any anything, Bible, nothing to this person. So no, be on your own giving plan. You can even look at it and say, okay, and Mr. Lagbaja that you know, so to speak, is more brilliant than you can even give anything. And all we are saying giving, we are not saying to Lord and except the situation where you have a specific instruction that thing can buy Lord shape when you buy in every after. So you understand, and we know that of course. And by the time you have the opportunity of doing that, you will be very happy because you are going your settlement is what is coming, except you have that instruction. But don't let us take it that I can only give to the person that I feel I'm better off. Now, as we are seated, I believe you are writing. You have been thinking of something in terms of business idea. Please, I will want to ask us, shall we try to replicate it in just 1 minute? Let's write it down. Okay, business idea. Can you put it down? Or can we put it down? Or if we don't put it down, let's bring them to remembrance. okay, iṣẹ́ báyìí, ẹ jẹ́ ká tún mind wa táwọn businesses yẹn, ẹ jẹ́ ká tún mind wa sí wọn. Okay, mo ń ta nǹkan báyìí, mo fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ irú business báyìí, mo ní àwọn nǹkan báyìí lọ́kàn. Let's bring all of them back, even if you are not going to write. Now, you know your capability in terms of the skills that you have. Your capability by experience níbi iṣẹ́ tá a ti ṣe over time, education wa, ìrírí tá a ti rí, people that we have met. Look at your experiences, look at the skills that you have gathered. Ẹ wo bí ìṣáájú sí àwọn nǹkan tá a ti kọ́kọ́ rò ṣáájú gẹ́gẹ́ bí iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe. Ṣé ó jọ mọ́ra? Ṣé nǹkan tó lè ran àwọn lọ́wọ́ ni? For instance, somebody that has been teaching for long, that the vision of his school has been coming to you. Ṣé kò jọra wọn? Ṣé you understand? Or someone that has been so much into working in so many places, God is now bringing an idea to máa tajà. Try and liken it. Báwo ni mo ṣe lè benefit ọjà tí mo fẹ́ máa tà pẹ̀lú àwọn tí mo ti ṣe ọ̀ àwọn nǹkan wo ni mo lè tà in relation to àwọn ibi tí mo ti ṣiṣẹ́. Let's try and look at all of those things. Let's try and look at them. Please don't limit yourself. New ideas can come up. You can have. Now, do you know what they call a business plan? Business plan àti pé business tí mo fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tí màá ní lórí nípa owó, the capital I will need. Tí n bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìlọ̀pẹ̀ náà nǹkan tí mo lè máa rí in terms of income. Tí n bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ to ensure that I sell those products, these are the expenses I will incur in terms of delivery, in terms of what do we call it, in terms of salary for people. Try and put it there. Difference méjèèjì aṣọ àwọn nǹkan tó ní, that is the profitability. Ṣé nǹkan tí ó ṣeé ṣe kó mú èrè wá ni? That is the starting. Ṣé nǹkan tó ṣeé ṣe? Because when you are doing a plan, that is always the target. It is what? A projection. It is always a projection, like a budget. It is always a projection. Ṣáà kọ̀ọ̀kan bí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ àṣà àwọn gangan. Very good. At that point now, any of us tá a bá ṣe kìíní, dandan kọ́ ni ká ṣe tán níbi ẹ̀jọ̀. Tó bá mú a projected profit jáde, sincerely it is something you can delve into. Can. That means tẹ́ ẹ lè ṣe, kìí ṣe pé tẹ́ ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe, check, you understand? Now there is something we call an assessment. You now start. Owó tí mo need. Do I have it? Ṣé bí ẹ̀mí ńlá rẹ̀? Number one rule in any business, bó ṣe rò tó tó tó, make sure your money is part of the capital. Make sure your money is part of the capital. Don't now say, business yẹn, owó tí mo nílò, for instance, káfẹ́ tó bí 5 million. Èyí sì rè 100,000 gan ó ṣàgbà ní. Number one, tí rẹ̀ gbádùn sẹ́yìn. You are not ready. Where you know you have a lot of belief in, ìwọ gangan wà á take lead gbogbo ya mo commit owó báyìí. Now, tọ́wọ́ yẹn ọ̀gá wa tó the next thing, báwo máa ṣe make it up? Please, I want to sound a note of warning to all of us. Kò sí nǹkan tó rọrùn ní kéèyàn yáwó. Hope somebody is not feeling I'm saying the wrong thing. Hope you feel I'm saying the correct. I'm not saying I'm correct. There is nothing wrong in borrowing money. Just make sure you are using it for what you have intended it for. That is the thing with borrowing. And I will tell you, for you to move along the rungs in business, you will need to borrow money. The only thing is that you need to be very, very diligent, prayerful, and very consistent. It is not then that you suddenly see that, for instance, you want to manage 1 million tẹ́lẹ̀. Àwọn kan wá yá ní 5 million. Ó wà bẹ̀rẹ̀ nǹkan táwọn yìí ti dé báyìí. You now start. Ṣé you understand? Don't forget part of our rules. Make sure you live below your means. For instance, tó o bá ti ní tó bí 1 million lákàntì, sórí bó ṣe máa ṣe bí ẹni tó níbi 200,000 níbi. Tédè ò bá yí wa dára kúkú. Ìwọ̀n tó yẹ pé sálárì ẹ̀ lóṣù 100,000 ní. Mi ní parọ́ fún yín, the best thing for you is to live like somebody that earns 50,000 in a month. That is the best thing. It is not for you to now say, ọlọ́run ṣe yí owó kówó. You now started. Owó tó ti kún owó yẹn. I will tell you what may I take it as. Savings ni. Pẹ̀lú orí ọ̀pọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ọkọ̀ tó fowó kówó. Àwọn náà ṣáàrì. Ó sì nǹkan tí ó ṣe wá. That is the truth. But not that immediately there is a salary increment, you jump up. You are then, you will see the office the next 1 month. In fact, ẹlòmíì yẹn náà ṣe bí orí òkùnkùn ló ti rìn ibi tá a fowó pọ̀ jù. And you see some people, either people that yẹ kó kí nǹkan kò tiẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ni. But you will see in years to come the difference. People like that, they are not set up because they don't need to look sideways to say ìgbòlá tó ń lo extra. Because owó ìṣẹ̀ ìtàn tó sì fi parí. Ẹni tó jẹ́ pé tó máa gba sálárì lẹ́sẹ̀ ní tọ́ọ̀dù ọlọ́sìn wà bá ṣe thank God it's Friday lọ́jọ́ kejì wọ́n á dààmú níbi tó wá jókòó sí lọ́jọ́ kejì by Friday or Monday ní the next week àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́dún náà tó wá ti wá sí ọ́fíìsì gbé fáìlì ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ yẹn rẹ́gí ẹ̀ máa kọ́ tó yẹ kó o ṣe. That is the next thing. And you see people that do that, I'm sorry to say, kò ní tó àwọn ètò ìsọ̀lẹ̀ ẹni tó ní owó ìgbà tó overtime yẹn náà check gẹ́gẹ́ overtime ò lè help ẹ ẹni tí normal salary ẹ̀ overtime ò lè help ẹ bóòlù tó jẹ́ pé the money you earn from overtime is far more than the normal salary tó lè help ẹ because that overtime is not consistent ọ̀gá kan á dé ń jọ́ kàtà bí you are working in a place and your overtime is more than the normal salary ó yẹ ẹ̀kọ́ tí ẹ má ṣe overtime àdúrà wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ kan wá èlè sí ní olóńgbìnà owó wa it is a lie. It is a lie. Live within your means. And when you are saying to live within your means, make sure. In fact, don't live beyond 50% of your salary. Wọ́n ṣe the process ìkíni ìpè Yorùbá ti kọ́ra it is so difficult to get used to it when you are at a particular level. That is the problem. Because you see, when you talk about debt, ẹni tó jẹ wọ́n ju Nàìjíríà lórí ìdálóhùn Dangote ni. Oh, you don't know. The richest man in Africa is the biggest debtor in Africa. And you saw the educator talk to produce you. His own debtor is a proud debtor. Do you know why? When a bank is coming to market somebody very big like Otedola, check get somebody level kan náà ni. When they are now presenting, they will say, chief, your friends, Dangote borrowed from us when he was building refinery. So you know we are capable. Any amount you want us to borrow, we can borrow you. Ṣé ẹ ti ń kẹ́ ìgbẹ́rẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀? Wọ́n ń lo orúkọ ẹ̀ láti market so that ẹni á tẹ̀ ọ̀kan bí ọ̀. Ṣé ẹ̀yin lè yá owó tẹ̀ nìfẹ́ báyìí? Me, I need big money, I don't want sir. We will have, you can talk to me sir. We told him we are coming here, he will also keep a word in for us. That is it. That is it. So please know what you do when you borrow money and when you start a business, please just try and keep your cool. See, you understand? Kì í ṣe ìgbà yẹn lèèyàn ń up and down. Let us not mix it up. Can we remind you of all of these processes? After knowing the bedrock, money wealth is a tool. You have to be diligent, financial management, and it's a gradual process, and you have to give. Financial management, then you have to give. Giving, you should be directed by God. Please, let's note that. And of course, it should be mainly within the household of God, or how you are directed. How you are directed. Now, when you start all of those things, the next things are We talk about relationships, networks. Those are very important. But please don't say because you want to build a network, you are going to the wrong places. We hear it a lot. Network one, network there one. Sincerely, we that we are seated here, for a child of God is a network. Our church is a good network. People that are like-minded, very good network. You don't need to go to the club to know people. Please, I beg you. If really you want to acquire the kind of wealth that sort of quality, yes, you can go to a club in quote now. There are so many clubs. We have some clubs where they do sports. Sure, you understand? And please, number one rule, even when you go to any social club, not club per se like dancing club, number one rule, at the earliest possible time, no matter how big that person is, voice your faith. Ṣé understand what mo sọ? Ẹ jẹ́ kẹ́ni yẹn tètè mọ̀ pé onígbàgbọ́ ni. Ṣé ẹ ti understand? We are human. Don't overrate yourself. Always think first. Ṣé ẹ understand? I had the privilege to be a brother working in a number of places. Ṣé before the 1 month, tí n bá dé ní place, everybody làwọn Christian ni. Everybody. Àìbá àti ẹ̀fẹ́ fẹ́ lọ́tẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ́ ní ìdílé. Ṣé ẹ ti understand? It is for safety. Sincerely, it is for safety. Everybody là á mọ̀. Mo ṣiṣẹ́ ní ìkan to the extent pé they say to my face that ẹgbẹ́ máa wọlé ìsànyà onídùúró tiẹ̀. Ṣé you get it? Yes, occasionally, ṣé kò lè tell me onídùúró ni? And you know the aberration in that place? I was the most senior Nigerian. Níbẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ̀ gàsíyà onídùúró. Ṣé get it? What I always tell them is that, see, èmi ṣáà ni mo gbọ̀gbìn ní project, the only thing tí mo fẹ́, ẹ ṣáà fi mi lórí seat. You know what I mean? I want as an accountant, ẹ ṣáà fún mi lórí seat. Because you also need the wisdom of God. Ṣé you understand? Lẹ́yìn owó tàbí kò sí ìlọ́dún kan, ṣé ibi seat lè mi fẹ́, so that táwọn tó ní bá dé, ẹkùn yíbà ní 1 million. Aṣọ quotation mẹ́ta, mọ́dẹ̀ mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta wá fún rìsíìtì tí ní final tí ní fún wa rí ẹgbà. Ṣé you understand that? So you should always safeguard yourself with things such as that. Make sure you voice your faith. Because once you voice your faith, ṣé ẹ rí our people of the world they know wọ́n àti ìfẹ́ ká ṣèlú wọn náà sí. Ìgbà nígbà máa ń plan ẹ̀jẹ̀ wọ́n ní gbé wá sójú ẹ̀ so that you will not thwart their plan. You have safeguarded yourself. Not to now talk of occasionally to wawa. You are not other person to say, people, I'm not interested in it. So God will help us. Now, I want us to, I believe we have questions. Are we going to send them to the front or we stand up to ask our questions? Okay, we should be standing up. Okay, please, if you have questions, can we use our hand? It's 1 hour already. Okay, number 1, sir. Okay, let's start with it.
My question is, as a beginner, this popular university about song, and deep, like, is it making sense for to say and
Thank you very much, my brother. Sorry, I think so many things we tend to give it translation to suit you. All in everything. That statement is correct. But my brother, ibi téèyàn ti ń ṣe lèèyàn ti ń jẹ nǹkan tó tọ́ sí yàn. If you are working in the place of boss, they will pay your salary there now. Ṣé you understand, my brother? If you are working in a place, they are obliged to pay your salary. But the area tí wọ́n bá ń lò ní pé ibi tó bá ti ń ṣe ìyẹn ti máa mú nǹkan tí èsì ti tiẹ̀. It is wrong though. People are only justifying it. That is not what that statement is. If you are saying like for instance, farmer tó tì ilẹ̀, do you expect to go and kórè ní farmer ibi tó ti gbé iṣu ẹ ló ti máa wù so ló ti máa wù jáde, ṣé you understand? So that is what that thing actually means. It's not to say that if it has been so that means I'm in this office, all the informs I should get it. No. So if it has been so that then to among you have to take your appropriate portion from where you have worked, not from what belongs to other people. Thank you. So I will back there. Hallelujah.
Yeah, so when it's actually, there is not a question, there is what you said.
Okay. Sorry,
Now, for a business that is just starting out, you will not really pay so much money for just projected, and we are not certain of how much are going to be per month. Is there advice to go for a loan to start something like that? Also, once you get the loan, then the time that you are rated and start payment. So what like at the beginning that projects, it's not like they are so sure that they are going to start getting results immediately, and you have to start going. So if you are starting off like that, is there advice to that you go for a loan?
thank you very much. You know, I mentioned something. When you are starting a business, please, at least 50% should be your own money.
Yes.
That is number one rule. And we call something scaling a business. Scaling ní pé iṣẹ́ yìí, let's say 500,000 láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Bí wàá ṣe wá máa mú lọ sókè ní díẹ̀, olùwàkọ́ mú lọ sí bí 1 million, olùmú lọ sí bí 1.5. Kì í ṣe bọ́ọ̀mù láti 500,000, ó wà tó fẹ́rẹ̀ 55 million ṣe. Èèyàn lè má lè cope pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. So tell you see, what you should do is you scale it gradually. So that for instance, you have made up 500 million. You started trading on your own, over here do 600. You now need 400,000 to make it up to 1 million. When you borrow that 400, or before you borrow that 400, the first thing you should look at is iye tán ní pé máa dá padà lóṣooṣù. Ṣé gbogbo owó tó ń make gan in those periods tó yẹ ti di 600 ṣó ká láti ṣe? Ṣé you understand? If it is not sufficient, you can now reduce that 400 to like 200. So you are going to scale it gradually, except when there is an opportunity. For example, you are very sure of what is coming. Please, in that case, don't deny yourself that opportunity. Sure, you understand? If you are very, because there are some times in business that you are very sure of what is coming. If you can see that horizon, you should take that risk. Sure, you understand? But if you are not sure, it's better to scale with dear. Only 100,000 Yamaga. Later, was 200. Later, was 300. Does that help? But please, the first thing when you are taking a loan is not taking the loan, is the repayment, please. And we are talking about repayment. When we are talking about the repayment including your interest. So at this point, I will advise people that I know we have it, join a cooperative society. It helped me so much. In fact, it helped my family so much. Join a cooperative society. You know why? The interest rate is not as much as what we have in the financial institutions. So you understand? Join a cooperative society. And if you are where you have people who are trustworthy, people who are trustworthy, not somebody that will collect and run. No. So you get it? When I was in the office then, we had a group of 10. I wouldn't want to mention the amount. Amanda Ajoye. Sincerely, anytime anyone go after the younger, in fact, you will feel like a London come out with the person has come. So you understand? So that also helps. So those are the kind of native knowledge, a godly knowledge that can help one in this journey of creating wealth. It takes time. It takes time. It takes a process. So don't think that don't look at people. The kind of wealth you are looking at is not the type. So you understand that they are talking about. And you know, for such, let's look at Habakkuk 2:9. So we are still taking questions though. So you see, when you don't act with integrity and you amass so much, it all comes to nothing at the end of the day. It all costs nothing at the end of the day. Now, do you have any question before I continue? I want us to go, okay, good. I want us to go into an area now. I don't want to say because it's doing that now. Sorry, I don't want to let you. Okay, okay. Good. Okay, ma'am.
My question is, sometimes after your propose for the making the project,
Okay.
and then the issue for you, what's wrong with you about that?
Okay.
You know, you have said the fact, this one I want to use for a particular project. I want to trying. Now one just go to me
And take
and
it.
then take it. And then the second one is that on the issue of capital. So I want to pay in the capital when the issue for you.
Thank you very much. So let me play after this. Yes, I know mommy doesn't want to be specific about the issue to clearly, but we pay in the name of God. Issues that will appear to be a salary earner is easier than to be a business person. Now, if issues come, number one thing is, so far you have started that business. It depends on at the stage tí issue bá ṣẹlẹ̀. Ṣé àwọn business lè lọ díẹ̀ kí issue ṣẹlẹ̀? And that is why I will say, when you start a business, for the first 3 years, please and please, don't take anything from that business. You have been eating. Please, for the first 3 years, do not take anything. Be disciplined. And how can you do that? Make sure you have your books of account. Bó ṣe òkèrè mẹ́nu àṣà account. Once you do the account, you now look at it. Can the capital that you bẹ̀rẹ̀, for instance, is 10,000. Ọlọ́run ṣe after some time, ẹni pé èrè 2,000 wà. In your mind and immediately, add that 2,000 to your 10,000, make it become 12,000. But you know in your mind that okay, 10,000 will be there. Because I think what we don't understand is this: when you set aside a capital for business, little do we know that you have deprived yourself of something. 10,000 is better business. You could have used to láti raṣọ. Ṣé ẹ get me? You could have used to láti lọ ra lẹ̀ níbì kan. Ká ní aṣọ lẹ fi rà for instance. Ṣé padà lọ bá wọn ní gbàgbà ti daṣọ ẹ lẹ́bìí ní nǹkan báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìtí ìwáṣọ ìpọ̀ ẹ bá kó change wọn. Ṣé understand? Ọ̀pá ṣẹ̀ lẹ́yìn fi ra lẹ̀. Is this something you can go to quickly and say nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀ èyí ilẹ̀ yìí for instance ìgbà tó fi appreciate there wọ́n wá fẹ́ sáré ìta pé torí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀. Because we see that business money with us láti máa ń keep ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé you understand me ma? Àtàbẹ́lẹ́ àfẹ́ ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ ká rí wàhálà tó ní ju pa wa lọ. But many a times ìnáwó kan wà business bí n ṣe dáadáa ó yẹ ká ṣe ìnáwó ẹ̀ mú bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé you understand? That is the way it happens. So it takes discipline. Let us discipline ourselves that this is my business. Kò kì í ṣe owó onímọ̀. At that point, even if you want to register business, it no longer becomes your money. Ideally in a structured business, owó yẹn gbogbo yín ti máa dájọ́ síbi kan o ò ní access sí mọ́. When you want to do business with people, ẹ ti máa fẹ́ síbi kan olùwà fẹ́ fi ẹ má bínú kí ní kan ṣe nǹkan kan. That money is no longer for you. Wọ́n ti write again director ní iye báyìí ní capital yín. Except you don't want to do the business again. Sure you understand now? Hope I'm answered your question, man. Thank you. Sorry.
You have to think why do we find people to say and in my mind, because we need to guide our children, and there are some principles that we need to apply. Can you please provide explain?
Okay, on students.
Yes, it is very and you can't convince us to find people to say and to make progress.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sorry for everybody. Let me try and pose this to us. Let's try this technique. Everybody that is certain of a particular amount every month. If you are certain, you see, this is a model that works. It compels you to save. It compels you to save. Not for cooperative. Make up your mind. Cooperative. Cooperative. I say go and borrow in a cooperative. Collect that money. Check, you understand? Know that enter that 50,000 just like 1 million. Let's go. You call and so based on your salary, go and collect it from cooperative. You get me right? Don't go to microfinance bank or other financial institutions too. What would you do? You collect that money. That's what we're going to next. There are places you can invest this money. You understand? There are places you can invest the money that, for instance, 500 naira cooperative. Iye tẹ́ ẹ máa gbà nípa ayé ọdún kò ní jẹ́ 500. But I can assure you, ara òye tí ó yẹ kí a máa wá nìyẹn. Okay, that's your question. Ṣé kí n máa sọ́gbà bí ẹ̀gìrì? Wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ question lẹ́yìn náà. No, màá ṣe lọ sọ́dọ̀ no ara question náà ni mò ń dáhùn. So wọ́n àkàyè ṣe. No, okay. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n wá bèrè. Ká wá bèrè question. Okay. Now, Daddy, I'm still answering your question. No, Ego, I'm still answering your question. You are compelling them to say. Okay. Okay. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n understand, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, the reason. Okay. Okay, maybe àtẹ̀yìn ni mo ti mú. No, yeah, no, you can tell us. No, Daddy, no. Ẹ sọ fún wa náà.
Bí a bá ti gba owó oṣù, ó ní láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣe, ó ta gbọ́dọ̀ tó ń mọ̀ ní pé bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí kàtó pẹ̀lú àdúrà, òbí ó máa gbàdúrà fún mi, ọmọ ẹni ó máa gbàdúrà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìgbẹ́ ọ̀gbọ́n, olúwa ní kó sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí, làbí lọ́lẹ̀ fún mi ní ìgbà. Àkọ́kọ́ ni pé bóyá ní òbí ẹ̀ ló ń gbé tàbí jẹ́ ẹ̀gbẹ́ tàbí kan, ó gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ pé owó àwọn ọ̀gbẹ́ni mo gbọ́dọ̀ ní mo máa ń mo gbọ́dọ̀ ní wọ́n ti àwọn òbí mi àti àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ míì a gbọ́dọ̀ ti bọ̀ ọ́ pé o ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí báyìí o ìwọ ló mọ 1% ìgbésẹ̀ mọ̀ bọ́ owó ṣe déédéé owó mọ̀ owó mọ̀ ní ọdún tó mọ̀ nínú owó mi. Àwọn tó sì wọ́n náwó lórí òrèké kí ni náà wọ́n ti jẹ. Ìgbà àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ní ọ̀dọ̀ òbí, ó ti gbé tọ́ ká lọ sí lọ́dọ̀ láàárọ̀ lórí ìlànà. Ọgbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ fún àwọn ọmọ tó ń wọ́n jẹ́ ẹ̀mí. Ó lè má ní ìtumọ̀ sí ìlú. Kékeré owó ọkọ̀ lọ iṣẹ́ náà lọ́wọ́ bọ̀. Ìlú ìjọba náà ní ìlú wọn yóò mọ̀ tó kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ̀kẹta, gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó tẹ́ ìlú ìjọba àwọn àjọ òkú pamọ́ tó fẹ́ kọ́ ìlú ìjọba wọn pamọ́ lójú oṣù. Ó jẹ́ pé ó fún ọ̀gá ìjọba ó jẹ́ pé àjẹ fún mi. Ẹ̀kẹ́ onígbé àwọn òbí yìí ó lè má lóṣù oṣù, ó lè lóṣù tó ti fi ìfẹ́ kàtọ́ka ìlú ìwọ̀n ọ̀hún. Ẹ̀ka àwọn tó ṣe é ṣe olórí ilé òjò bẹ́ẹ̀ pé ìjọ tàbí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ tí kò ń ṣe níjọ ọlọ́run ìdá mẹ́wàá tí mo nílò láti máa fi síbẹ̀ tàbí àwọn ọmọ tó yẹ kí máa lọ́wọ́ láti gbóògbé àti tó dé ìgbésẹ̀ márùn-ún tí mo rò pé káwa òbí láti máa wá kí ọmọ náà má sì gba ẹ̀kọ́ lórí rẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ọmọ tó bá tún ní gbọ́dọ̀ òkú tó ṣe gbìgbà tó jẹ́ tó bá ti gbowó náà òjẹ́ ìtàbí àwọn tó kà fún ọ̀rẹ́ tó
Thank you so much, sir. So, just take it to, no, take to mommy first.
Thank God that out of my 3 questions, 2 have been answered.
Oh, good.
The first one is the issue of safety in anticipation of business. And thank God some people have mentioned it. Táwọn ò bá ní ọ̀nà àti ṣe bísínẹ́sì lọ́dọ̀ wá fẹ́ sọ pé ẹbí àwọn kan ní iṣẹ́ oṣù tó ń ṣe oṣù náà wò ó tó di wípé ìjọba sọ bísínẹ́sì tó lè mọ̀ láti láàrin méjèèjì. Ó yẹ kó wá ti ṣiṣẹ́ oṣù yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ. Owó wọ́n fún mi lówó ni o, wọ́n fún mi nílé pé ni o, wọ́n fún mi mọ́tò wọ̀ ni o, wọ́n fún mi lórí ẹ̀jẹ̀ ni o. Owó tí ìbá san fún gbogbo àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ yẹn ó yẹ kó yọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo fẹ́ fi kó bẹ́lẹ̀ nílé. Ó yẹ kó wá sí TPS nìkan kó máa lọ sọ́tí dáadáa. Ẹ wò nígbà tí a ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ TPS ló wà ní àyẹ̀kú níṣẹ́ la sọ́tí dáadáa o. Ẹ̀kẹta ní pé tó bá wà tó fẹ́ ṣe business lọ́jọ́ iwájú, iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe tó rẹ́ àkàtì àyè wá ìdájà kú tó máa ṣe lẹ́yìn tó máa lọ́wọ́ wá lórí náà owó yẹn pamọ́. Ẹ̀rí bí oko ló pè ní bí ìbẹ̀pẹ̀ ló pè tó fi tí oúnjẹ kan bí ìjẹ̀kùn ló ṣe ní tó jẹ́ pé wàá máa owó yẹn pamọ́ owó yẹn á ti bí ó lọ tó tó di pé ọkùnrin contribution fún àwọn kọ́lẹ̀ third question and the last one ni pé téèyàn wá ṣe business promotion tó bá tó dé àwọn ìjọba kí ìgbẹ́ndì ó lè dá ká lè gbọ́dún dáadáa orí àwọn àtúntà ìbéèrè dáadáa. Pé tí n bá ṣe business projection tí mo ní ọjà tí n bá fi 2,000 kí n mú kékeré tí àfíríkà ní 200,000 bẹ̀rẹ̀ òwò yìí. Máa fi lè báyìí ìṣòwò ọ̀gbìn, máa fi lè báyìí ìṣòwò iná, máa fi lè báyìí ìṣòwò oníkan, àìrèrè àjẹyìn báyìí. Orí ilé mu máa dèrè yẹn kó fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ business yẹn o. Ṣùgbọ́n láàrin méjì ni government policy gẹ́gẹ́ bí epo ṣe yàtọ̀ yìí. Tí ó jẹ́ bí ìyọ́kọ méjì nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ná tẹ́lẹ̀ ni mo wá ná sórí mọ́tò, ni mo wá ná sórí tó wá fẹ́ gbé gbogbo èrè business yẹn lọ. Tí mo torí ẹ̀rọ tó tó máa wọ business tó wá rẹ̀ pé nǹkan ìfẹ́ kan lọ. Ẹyin bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wà business ọgbọ́n àwọn ìlú àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kan dá kán fi ka èrè yẹn sókè díẹ̀ sí ju bí ìbá ṣe jẹ́ lọ. Ìmọ̀ ìfẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ìṣe business ní ìlú ọmọ fẹ́kẹ̀ báwa kí ẹ bá wà fi òye yẹn tó ní gbọ́ wájú.
Sorry, please. Sorry, Reverend. I didn't very answer question. Very practical question. See, when you are making a projection, no matter how experienced, then you have to generally share it. In as much as it's a projection, it is never certain. It is never certain. And since it's not certain, always leave an allowance. Maybe because of the hindsight of the cost you study. See, before an accountant will come out and say, a project, if I make a profit 100,000, ní ọdún yìí, there are certain things we call buffer. For instance, à ń ta ọjà nísìnyí, for instance, your general à ń tà fún. A máa mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ a kọ sí inú, we call something dynamic forecast. 9 naira láti project. She understand? And we are paying that 9 naira will now say, okay, àmọ́ epo bá wa lójú lórí last year after 1,000 ọjà yẹn. Àdàmọ́ pé normally ó yẹ kó lọ sókè tó di 1,001. 1,000 ọdún tó kọjá náà láti kọ sí. Ṣé àmọ́ in a way we have lowered our estimation for revenue. Number one rule in estimate is that in tó dàbí nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ máa tà revenue yìí, you must shorten it in your budget. Not because you are a pessimistic person, but because you are a good accounting person. Ẹ mọ̀ mú yẹn wálẹ̀, and you will be as realistic as possible for your expenses. To the extent pé ẹni tí mo sọ 10,000 fún lọ́dún, ẹ fi 11,000 multiply lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀. Owó tó àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ collect bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún 11,000. Ó lè jẹ́ bóyá June àti September ni. Ẹ ti fọgbọ́n accommodate ṣọ́ọ̀kì oṣù bíi mẹ́fà tí yẹ ẹ̀dín fún ní 1,000 yẹn. Tí nǹkan bá wá dé lójú náà, epo lọ sókè lójijì. Ẹ ṣáàdì gbé mọ́tò lẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ ó yá ẹmọ́ jáde mọ́ tẹ́ ẹ̀bà jáde ẹ̀ ní ìtajà. Tó ṣe gbogbo àwọn búfà yẹn lẹ́wàá máa tú síta ní díẹ̀díẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àfọkànsí. You know you have kept for instance 100,000 as a buffer in terms of your expenses. Kì wá ṣe bí wọ́n ṣe àwa nìyẹn àwa táwọn kúrò jẹ́ẹ̀tì. Ẹ̀sán wọn máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí epo bó ṣe ń lọ. Ìyẹn jẹ́ máa fọkàn sí pé kò sí gbogbo lílọ káàkiri báyìí mọ́. Kí ẹ bá fẹ́ gba ọjà fún èèyàn tán ní Sango. Ìtàkì ẹ̀ ti dá mọ́tò kan lọ Sango lẹ́gbà kan lọ́tọ́ jẹun. Ẹ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ fún wọn ni. Ẹgbẹ́ mọ́tò kan bí wọ́n tó tóbi díẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ tí Sango mọ́tò jọ. Ṣé àwọn understand? I'm just giving you another but nínú businesses kọ̀ọ̀kan tá à ń ṣe ìyẹn ní káà fi sọ́kàn. Make sure you work on your expenses. Ṣé ayé ìṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ìbátara wa with the way Nigeria is now, your revenue nobody needs to tell you that you should bring it down. Because ẹni tó ń ra mílìkì agolo kan lóṣù tẹ́lẹ̀. Thank God you all are fake aids. We are all home managers. Agolo kan yẹn oṣù méjì oṣù mẹ́ta láti lè ní ìsìn. That is disinfectant. So everyone tó wá sọ pé after 1,000 ló ṣì ó ń tẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀yìn after 1,000 Ọlọ́run náà wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ bọ́jẹ́tì 8 ní oṣù ilé. Not because you don't trust them, but the reality tells you that that is what you must do. Adé ìsìn náà kò sí tí mo ti mọ̀ pé 800 láta instead of 1,000. Last month lórí expense ta ná 200,000. Ẹ wá gbogbo orí 150 ibi tó bá tọ́ sí ló tọ́ sí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀gbọ́dọ̀ ta 800. As your revenue is going down, you make sure that your expense too comes down. But please, I always advise people, of all the expenses that should come down, ẹgbẹ́ máa fọwọ́ kan salary àwọn èèyàn. That is part of what godly wealth creation teaches us. Please, bí o tiẹ̀ ṣe é ṣe ká fi kún kó má wálẹ̀. God will help us. Mommy, sorry, hope I tried in answering the question. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, Reverend now. I'll come back to this.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate the lecture and some of the things that you have told us. Sir, I first want to say that for what you have made us to understand, I deduce that it takes very serious determination and discipline to go to the make away of community work. Number two, I want to ask the question I want to ask before I think in the way you have mentioned it. Okay. But I want you to expatiate more on it. And that is on the issue of cooperative. Now, we have people that have a particular money they are saving somewhere. When you open an account, you don't have anything that has to do with access to that account. They save money there on this. At the same time, they have a cooperative. I always think that having a cooperative is a way of saving compulsory scheme. But at the same time, I look at it that, of course, from that cooperative, we are going to borrow money in the long run. Sometimes we borrow money to take care of children's needs. It's not for business. That means from savings, we are already spending on something that we not okay. Don't let me say the Lord. It will be fair
In future.
They will invest in the life of the children. But looking at the business aspect now, I believe that I want you to expatiate. The issue of cooperative, is it sufficient as a way of saving? Or should somebody also have another saving somewhere that you not have access to, so that it will be nearest to the families? Okay, that's number one. Number two, I also know that now that we have a lot of internet things, there are a lot of businesses online. Some are legitimate, some are not. There are some things I'm aware that one can do now. It's not as if it's going to take much of your time. Just a little time and spend probably not you're going to get much more. You will return on your money. We open our understanding or our eyes to some of those things. Because when you look at some of them, they actually time. Sometimes you are so preoccupied that you don't even have the extra time to do some business. Don't do something other time. That something that you want to do is supposed to start at the time. But unfortunately, some of us spend those one point come back. The time is completely gone. So what do you see in that place of work and that to ensure that you are able to advance it? So can you just expatiate on that?
Okay.
On that. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, sir. Okay, doctor. Okay, let me quickly take that before I come to that. See, making money, because that's the aspect I want us to go to next. I'll just take it together. Also, I'll just take a part of what Daddy said also. See, the generation we have now of our children, the generation is faster than our own generation. And I want us to understand that very well. So that there will not be a case whereby our new issues to learn on our. The way our own parents held us to do certain things, I'm sorry. Okay, John. Okay. Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
Máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀rọ. Okay, sir.
Ọmọ ẹgbẹ̀rún nínú ilé ìwà ibi tó wọ́n ọ̀gá bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ ni kéèkì náà bẹ́ẹ̀ ní bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ táwa lè rà á kí ni ká ṣe? Sórí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀kí ilé ọmọ ajá ẹ̀rọ pàṣẹ lẹ́yìn àṣẹ́lọ́bí ìpínlẹ̀ ọmọ ọdún ọmọ aláwọ̀dá ọmọ ní àìlèkà. Ọmọ aláwọ̀dá ọmọ ní àìlèkà. Ọmọ aláwọ̀dá ọmọ ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ́ntì ní ìgbàgbọ́dọ̀ ní ọmọ aláwọ̀dá ọmọ ní ìgbà 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 ọmọ tèmi náà bẹ́ẹ̀ tí náà tún sọ̀rọ̀ wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ òun lọ ọmọ káàdì ìgbè káyọ̀ ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ fún àìsàn.
Sincerely, okay, let me digest a little from where my thought was. Now I made you a backup. Please, Daddy, and for all parents here, we have mentioned this. You are not in a contest with anybody. And I feel as parents, we will be doing ourselves a whole lot of good if you let your children understand this abolition. Please do not create a false impression for any child. Nǹkan tó bá wà ló wà. nǹkan tí ó bá sí kò sí ìṣòro sì ń bọ̀. So please never create a false impression. Ọmọ tó ti mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ bí ilé ṣe rí, I'm sorry, by the grace of God, we will not have to be like that, that will not know, that will not follow where we are teaching them or leading them. I'm sorry, not for anything. The way I grew up, láti kékeré, I thank God I'm the first. Èmi ni dá.
Oh yeah, go down, you don't have bus pass. Why dem I down there, you don't have bus pass. Èmi bẹ̀rẹ̀ ma fẹ́ sunu bus, whereas mi ò ti sunu náà. Check, you understand? So if we train a child like that, the child knows that, oh, our parents nǹkan ò tí ì dùn. You will be the person to strive in school láti ṣe dáadáa so that wà lọ federal university. Federal university bẹ̀rẹ̀ láyé sí, so cheap. Check, you understand? So why would you now carry a body to now say nǹkan tó fẹ́ gbé lórí àwọn parents? Talking to the children now. And please also parents, you that you know that ipa ní òkà torí pé ọmọ lágbájá lọ síbẹ̀ ìwọ náà lọ lọ private school. I'm sorry to say you are not ready for what you are talking about. You are not ready. Plainly, I have to just say it. You are not ready. Because since you know that, you know the fees, but what you need, and also the computer is low regarding the environment of this people. And you know what you are learning. For God's sake, why do you need to put yourself into that? Rather than let the child know àjọ múra sí o lè ní ìtọ́jú dání jango, o lè wọ federal university o. Check, you understand? That is on that. Now, on cooperative, please, I will beg us. I'm sorry, I'm a parent too. I'm sorry this will be controversial, but I just have to say it. Ẹjọ́ mo bẹ̀ wá, parents, you're sending your children to school. It's not an investment. I'm saying it with all sense of responsibility. You are not investing by sending your children to school. All parents, please note this one. You are not investing. It is your responsibility. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. Having the mind that one of my school only one more junior, that is a secondary case. It is secondary. Ọlọ́run á ṣe àwọn adáradára. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kán tọ́jú wa. But please parents, do not have it in mind that one of my lọ sí school. Torí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe lọ sí university so that á tọ́jú mi. It is wrong o. It is wrong o parents. In fact, it's very very wrong. It is part of the responsibility as well as saying that okay, mo ń fún ẹ lóúnjẹ kí wọn náà lè wá fún mi lóúnjẹ ní ọjọ́ iwájú. I'm sorry, jẹ́jẹ́ ìdílé ní wàá tó wà. No, sincerely, jẹ́jẹ́ ní wàá tó wà. Rather when you are praying for your child, I'm sorry, I will still say this. People who are praying prayer, I'm sorry, are people that are not even themselves on the wealth journey. That is the truth. Let's take for instance, let me not give you the same example. Okay, the line is a good boy, we are more for you. Kill them. Shall you understand? That is the way we should look at things. Let's get away from this traditional mentality. To very good. when you have a child, when you have children, they are your children till the time you are here. Dandan kọ́ ni make man ọlọ́run gbà. Ọmọ tó bá ti train, sorry, let's listen to this. A child that you have trained to understand this pathway. Sincerely, kó o tó mọ̀ kó o náà ṣe bí wọ́n ti tiẹ̀. Ó náà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn pẹ̀lú that sense, generation me, and that is how you see generation growth. But if you are sitting down there, hey, o ṣe náà ní ìsìnkú yẹn máa mú wa. Ìjà tí ò yẹ kó o mọ̀ ọjà. Inú tí ò yẹ kó o bí sọ́mọ. That is what you now start doing. Check it. So good, they are graduates, but the one that you want bad things here. Kìí ṣe pé tọ́mọ ò bá fún ẹ kó o lè ṣe. Ṣé understand me? Please, parents are begging us. You don't know what children are going through. So many of them are close to take a check. Anytime they postulate, you say, this is my new ticket. You not be putting pressure on the poor child. Kábíyèsí àwọn àdúgbò nǹkan tó wá ríṣẹ́ ìkejì òtí. You now be making the other person feel inferior. Like them, aside from the fact that you are creating enmity between you and the child, láàrin àwọn ọmọ gan o ti ń dá èdè àìyedè sílẹ̀. Please parents, I'm begging us. You are sending your children to school because it's your responsibility. Children are sending them to an investment. I'm sorry, maybe generations that our grandparents were, our parents did not do that. But I know a number of us here who lost school. That. You understand? And I know we took care of our parents. That posterity, nǹkan táwọn aṣọ àpò ìwà ọlọ́run jẹ́ káwọn ọmọ wa náà gbà ìwà ẹni ẹ̀fọ́ kan bá lẹ̀. It is not until you now say nǹkan báyìí mo máa no, I'm saying for my own people of my life. Màá ní òkú àwọn ọmọ mi, but it is not for me to now say oya bring this to me. No, at that point when I feel okay, orí báwa ṣe ṣe fún wọn. Báyìí la ṣe ṣe fún ọkọ tó ké ten ní gbégbé nígbà tí fẹ́. What I'm expecting to see ọ̀gá 20 olùkọ́ àti ọ̀gá no that is me o. Ten lè ní ṣe fún àbí orí. Mo ń mọ́nítọ̀ ẹ̀ o kó o bá ṣe 20 fọmọ yẹn ọ̀gá you are not doing well. That is my own baroka. Not in okay ya because èmi náà ní by the grace of God èmi náà ní kékeré ti tèmi and by the time of that time kí la fẹ́ jẹ mọ́. Shey you understand? So please let's learn. This is what they call succession planning. It is the highest part of wealth creation. And it is the prayer of everybody that whatever God helps you with, you are able to pass it on to the coming generations. It's in the promise of God to Abraham now. You pass it on from generation to generation. So please, this is the right perspective. Ẹ má bínú tí bá ti lọ́jà tó yẹ kí n tọ́jú, but kò tọ̀rọ̀ ni, kò tọ̀rọ̀ ni. Sir? Ti cooperative. Now, what is cooperative ṣe? Two ways to look at cooperative. Aim gbọ́dọ̀ wà nínú cooperative way. What you want to achieve? Ṣé our joint cooperative gbà yẹn? For the purpose of pay our need to go to construction township. Now, if for the purpose of school fees, I'm sorry to say, you shouldn't base cooperative on school fees alone. You are not benefiting. You are not benefiting. Let me tell you the truth. Because, sorry to say, on $10 school, we understand it's an investment. If you are compelled to go to the cooperative to fill your expense, sincerely, you are okay up to a particular level. Ṣé máa lọ process nìkan? Bí kìíní ẹ̀ ṣe ti ń support, ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ ti máa ní àwọn savings náà, intentional savings díẹ̀ torí maybe business. Ṣé understand? Now, if at any point, let's say I'm not close school, kò wá tó lọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ pé ẹ tún gba cooperative loan. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ wá lè sọ pé ẹ̀ka tó dájú dínkù tí mo fẹ́ fi ṣe rè ìyẹn ni wàhálà o. But by the grace of God, it's not good to now make it that all through the spirit of the children, cooperative level fee. So it points to one thing. Bí ẹni pé ìpáyìí kìíní èèyàn ṣáà jímọ̀. It's not supposed to be. Sincerely, we have to tell ourselves this truth. It's not supposed to be. Cooperative good. When you are doing something in the right thing that will bring money to you. But ìgbà tí o bá ti wá ikú ètè sí pé ọmọ tí kò lọ school investment is an investment in a way but sharing in the real sense of the money àtàrà wọn láti hàn mọ̀ dàgbé mọ̀ responsibility check understand responsibility God will help us I know kò kì í ṣe nǹkan tó rọrùn Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́ but sharing fún àwọn ọmọ yìí tí ẹ bá ti láwọn tó ń gba owó oṣù gẹ́gẹ́ bí sọ lẹ́yìn ṣe generation wọn aláti understand yàrá wọn ẹ jẹ́ kó tọ̀ nǹkan cooperative loan ọgbẹ́ ṣe ọgbọ́n náà máa ń jáde ẹ jẹ́ kó tọ̀ nǹkan cooperative loan yá 1 million òtùmọ̀ yẹn tó ṣe calculation fún rẹ̀ òtùmọ̀ yẹn tó san lóṣooṣù pẹ̀lú interest rẹ̀ mo mọ̀ ní salary yẹn mi 1 million yẹn ká kó máa lè ra shares kó máa lè fi sí investment náà tájẹ́ return iye báyìí. That is the trick o even for adults I mean ṣe ẹgbà look at your salary okay akọ̀lẹ̀ kọ̀ pẹ̀lú 50,000 ní oṣù ẹlẹ́gbà náà 550 no matter interest at 600 àbí 50 lẹ́wọ̀n náà padà oṣù 500 and 550 tẹ̀lé àbáyé ó ní investment ẹ̀ máa kó sí by the end of the year I can promise you 550 for that one level and you know what you have done whether you like it or not ọlọ́mọba rẹ̀ wá ti sàn fún 220 yẹn owó tí ó wà nínú investment yẹn is your own that is how to build wealth gradually and you see something the funny thing about building wealth is the success of a year propels you to do more cooperative tẹ̀sí yàwó yẹn how are you grateful mo dáwọ́ ìpadà ó kì í yá 1 million for fẹ́ẹ̀nìsì 550 àbí 650 tó ti jù ẹjọ wọn you no longer that interest ibi that ti rí 50,000 dollar level ti change 50,000 kọ́ ọmọ adá padà lóṣooṣù ó ti di 75,000 100,000 agbára ọlọ́run mi and gradually 650 ọdún tàbí 1 million kẹ́ẹ̀tọ́ mọ̀ ní sẹ́fà 6 million ṣé we understand this thing and there is something they call the compounding effect iye tá a máa lé lọ́dọọdún a máa di iye tó lé ní ọdún alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ lọ it is simple logic and now what are the right ways to do this now sir there are so many things on the internet please I will beg us do not dabble into anything on the internet at our age because I see majority of us at our age sharing we should go into things that are physical and that are constant mo mọ ibi tí mo fowó mi sí tó bá ti ẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn wa ló gbowó lọ́wọ́ yín akẹ́lẹ́ lórí kọ̀ǹpútà láti ẹ̀ no sincerely it speaks a lot about the person's consciousness she understand it is better to say ibi báyìí ni àfìsí wọ́n dẹ̀ fún mi ní nǹkan báyìí so that at least ọlọ́run nígbà tí ìjọba ti ṣe you have something to share say àdéhùn fún mi ní ibi tí mo ti ṣe àdírẹ́sì wọn ni ẹni báyìí ni mo bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní ibẹ̀ hope you understand this so see for the internet things they say forex and I don't answer again I will tell you for a fact there is forex but SARS and MAN àwọn tó mọ̀ ní tòótọ́ bóyá ní tó 1% wọ́n ti pàdé wà ní forex àwọn tó mọ̀ ní tòótọ́ àti tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní tòótọ́ and I tell you for those people that actually know forex they will always tell you it is a game of chance gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ forex náà sọ ní ìsìn ṣẹ́ pé in the last 2 months right those that are trading forex actively they are having issues ṣé ẹ mọ̀ tó bá ìjà tí Trump bá Iran jà it is as volatile as that. Nǹkan kan tẹ́ ìpa kú lè dá gbogbo ẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe lè dàrú àwọn tó ń ṣe ọ̀là gas nísìn wàhálà tí yẹn dá sílẹ̀ tó ń affect àwọn tó ń trade in forex inú àwọn yẹn dùn tí wọ́n ti pé kó ti mọ́. Ṣé ẹ ti understand? Ṣé ẹ ti understand what business ṣe? When you are talking about forex, it's as sensitive as that. So kì í ṣe tẹ́tẹ́ ìkàlẹ́ sọ pé kí ọmọ wa kan sọ pé òun ṣe forex ó ti wá sọ fún wa sọ ẹ̀dá kó 1,000 ṣé ẹni ó bẹ́ẹ̀ kà kẹ́ ẹ fi 1,000 kẹ́ ẹ wá tí wọ́n mẹ́rin ti dà àtẹ̀kọ́ kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ sínú ara rẹ̀. No, sincerely, that is the way we should be treating money. There is always another use for money. Until we understand that any amount you have, you can use it in 1,000 ways. So if you now decide to keep láti share ara yín láti keep owó yẹn, èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ mọ nǹkan tí èèyàn fẹ́ fi ṣe. Thank you. So where go we?
Ẹjọ́ kó lọ fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìgbà wípé mọ̀ wọ́n ní wá sí ìgbà gbogbo àti treasury bill.
What do you get?
He said about keeping money. I'm now asking, what do you have to say about having a treasury bill?
In fact, I'm very impressed, mommy. At least mommy for treasury bills. That shows a whole lot of knowledge. Man, treasury bill is super. It is good. If I would say in Nigeria to the other majority of that is the safest investment in any country. You know the meaning of treasury bills now. Ẹ̀yà dọ̀gba ló tí dọ̀gba ọ̀gá sí ìlọ owó yóò dùn sí ìlọ. But one thing with investment is this: there are always options based on the knowledge to look at the value. For instance, treasury bill means one for you 13%, one for you 14%. Tẹ́lá tí wàá lọ ra secondary market yẹn tó bá ti ń di ọwọ́ lọ́wọ́ a máa wá díẹ̀. Now, there are other very good ones that requires knowledge that you can do that will give you more than that. She understand? And well, I only want to talk too much. For that, you can see me after. But others that can do something better for you. We talk about shares and stocks. Jerry, I don't know. Shares and stocks are so very good. What do we call shares and stocks? There are some companies that man go, like let's say for instance, First Bank Nigeria PLC. It's a publicly quoted company. The capital of the Union Bank, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èlò ń wá. And we have an exchange, we call it the Nigeria Exchange. Ó dàbí ọjà, tọ́tí máa ń ta stocks àwọn ìwà companies. I think in Nigeria we have about 130 companies that are publicly quoted every day. Wọ́n máa ń lọ sọ́jà yẹn. It's like open market right now. Àwọn tó fẹ́ ra shares company náà àtàwọn tó fẹ́ tà. What now happens? Tí demand ẹnu ọ̀dọ́ ní demand wọ́n ṣe ń béèrè tó bá ṣe pọ̀jù àyè rẹ̀ tà lọ price àmà lọ sókè. Should I tell you the truth? Iṣẹ́ táwọn ọ̀dọ́ ń ṣe nìyí. Kò ní ìdíkó ṣe nǹkan yóò ṣe àti gbé information data research ẹ̀ ló lè ṣe and it's legitimate. Okay, company profit by economic or you can pick interest in some companies and say mo ti ń ṣọwọ́ ṣe company ló ń ṣe dáadáa ṣé àtúntò lọ sókè kiri kankan àkókò information báyìí nípa company kan báyìí you can now look at it as ẹni tó ń ra ṣé àkókò ṣé kí n sọ fún mi. Company come back very open. When they did their initial IPO, I think it was like ₦1.60 for not to go in. Loan check is already company share. It is now ₦12. So for instance, the TME and to share only ₦1 níbẹ̀. Owó ẹ̀ ti ₦12 is. To the Germany, we don't share money. Analysis is correct in the company to the extent that the point the regulator actually suspended it. They didn't do. They investigated to see that ṣé kò kí n ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe àwọn aṣemáṣe kọ̀ọ̀kan. òótọ́ wọn rí àwọn aṣemáṣe kọ̀ọ̀kan but kò kí ń ṣe lórí àwọn investor kì í ṣàkóso wọn rà check to understand but in reality for instance Nigeria exchange ní last year on the average ẹni tó bá fi 100,000 síbẹ̀ at the end of the year owó ẹ̀ ti di 150,000 share understand and that is why me I always say something you see let's digress a little. The state of our mind is very important and the outlook we have concerning our country is also very important. Please have beg us. Let us move away from complaints. It is a mindset. You might not like the government in power. You might hate them. Please, do not bring politics into economics. I beg all of us. Extremely to the order. Check, you understand? Where people are saying that, ìjọba ìdá kò dá ìgbélé bí èyí parí fún in the last 3 years in this country, people that are on ground have made money like never before. Legitimately. Kò sẹ́ni tó bèrè ọ̀pá tó mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pé ṣé ìrántí ní gbogbo yẹn ṣó lè fún. No, that market is free entry, free exit. But by the time you have it in your mind that kò sí ẹ̀ka tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní country, it already blocks your mind to anything that is happening. You see, we are going to another dispensation. In man's only bad, but I will say to you, I'm a business person, a very petty one like that. Anything politics will finish. Ṣé ẹni tó ń gbé ìwà lẹ́nu lórílẹ̀-èdè tá a wà yìí tó politics kò sí o. Leave them iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ní. As a child of God, stay in the place of prayer and in the place of prayer alone. So that opportunities go dára. Kò ní máa go by and you keep complaining. Ìjọba ìná ṣe, wọ́n ti ṣe lé, wọ́n ti ṣe lé. When you now see somebody that is, so to speak, flourishing, you now say ara wọn ni. It is not right. I always say this wherever I do that. It is look away from the government. Ní ti tèmi o, ìjọba kan lè ní láti kò sì change. Mo sọ yìí o, mi è dìbò. Mo sọ yìí ẹ má bẹ̀rù. I don't vote. Ṣé understand? I intentionally am doing it because you know by the time you are our business people kan ló lè ṣe politics láti dé level kan. Ṣé understand? We all know I.M.K. Abiola level wo ni o dey. He did it. That was what brought about his end. And ẹni tí ọba Abiola that family history ó ti dà ní wà he raised to time. So it's something I always advise you as much as possible. Do not let your partisanship go beyond go and vote for who you want. Leave the place if you must go. If you don't mention because I like a lot of safeguard because we feel estimate around mi ò kì í register láti ṣe ìdílé tó dáṣà àdéhùn nígbà tí màá bá dáàbì lọ́ba bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wàá bá mi pé àgbẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ wàá bá mi sọ́ọ̀lì láti sọ ẹ mọ̀ bínú ìlú tó dáṣà ló bá tán iṣẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ ìlú bàbá yẹn case close all to this end gan-an ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn sì lè jáde just understand so there's when you safeguard yourself but by the time you take politics to the extent that you now take it so much that you don't see what else is good. Ṣé ẹni bó ṣe òkè nǹkan bá ti kù? In fact, let me say for you, ibi tí nǹkan bá ti rí báyìí, the opportunity ti máa wà. Ibi tí nǹkan bá ti rí báyìí, the opportunity ti máa wà. Legitimate ones, I will tell you, legitimate ones. So start with any money that you have. Okay, one minute.
Experience with shares in the past few years. Oh crash. Our shares will crash. But they were discouraged. I had an in-law who ṣiṣẹ́ ní oil and gas. Tó dẹ̀ gba good money. Tó kó sínú shares. In fact, ó tẹ̀lé àwọn
shares, any for me like that. The thing with shares is this. Shares are not things that you buy today and say next month what you appreciate. The technique with shares is this. Share 20,000 million, tell keep and distribute. Share is the one that I win. Since you are not expecting it, you will be watching other then please put your mind to good news. Again, God will back up you. Ìròyìn àgbọ̀ṣe hà. Somebody has told me ìròyìn àgbọ̀ṣe hà. Sorry, what do you want to do? You want to sadden yourself. That's what ìròyìn àgbọ̀ṣe hà is. Ìròyìn tí wàá gbọ́ tí mi á bàjẹ́. And you see people àkàtọ̀ méjì tẹ̀lé. Àtẹnudọ́ fọ́lẹ̀ àgbọ̀ ìròyìn bá kọ́ bí. Sincerely, when I see people, I look at me, are we all together? If I don't borrow in my body. No, sincerely. For what? Rather, I would rather look at the stock market globally. That's it. Prayerful. Company management. Lead management. And with the very hindsight, I work with financial industry. I will look at it. Or then, to the extent, I'm sorry to say, I discussed with my son too. That's the line where he was. Go down, go in, give me back. Check together. Okay, education is okay. Education will live there. As Mommy said, it is not always on the positive side, but why you should be active is that when they need your money, that is the knowledge you should get. Anybody that buys shares, ẹ má rà kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pẹ̀lú ìdá. Bóyá ẹ̀ka lọ́sẹ̀, ok, mo ti ẹ̀wọ̀n lọ́sẹ̀ ìkọjá one naira 20 kọ̀wé, èlò wá ní báyìí, ó ti di 1 naira 40, ọlọ́run ṣe. Ẹ má lè kí ni yín lójú, jẹ́jẹ́ ẹ tún òun gbà látún ráyè. Kí ni màá sì lọ́wọ́ náírà? Kí ló dé? Take the newspaper, search on Google, so company, what is the latest news? From that point, the result of the clear with that. Profit $1 or loss na make kò sẹ́ni tí ó sọ fún yín ẹgbẹ́ tó bá yín rà ọ̀gá a ò ṣe sọ nǹkan báyìí fún mi so that ẹni náà fún ẹgbẹ́ wà ní fọ́ọ̀mù mo sọ pé company ní ibi problem báyìí ṣé ká kà ní àbí kíkà ṣe you can now rob minds nígbà tí you carry am ẹ má wòlíì wòlíì ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe owó dẹ̀ díẹ̀ má ṣe padà àbí sọ́ọ̀lù wẹ́ẹ́ kí sọ fún yín ẹjẹ́ àrà kára another one wey ìyẹn ní better prospect it is an active market. As I told you, iṣẹ́ táwọn kan ṣe nìyẹn o. That is the work some people are doing and it is legitimate. Ṣé ṣe understand? And sincerely kò kí n ṣòwò rẹpẹtẹ ní láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ẹ jọba fún mi.
Ẹ jẹ́ ìdàwọ́ àtọ́jú yẹn. Lẹ́yìn àbá lówó kan àti báyìí. Ṣé fees capital ló dáa jù ní? Treasury fee ló dáa jù ní? Àbí èwo ni nínú àwọn financial facilities yẹn ló yẹ ọmọ ọlọ́run tí ó sì mérè wá tí kan sì sàn jù kan lọ.
Now,
Èwo ló sàn lọ méjèèjì?
the name of the game is how ready are you to absorb risk? Kókó gan nìyẹn. What do we call risk? How much can you cope with the fact that nínú 100,000 mi at the end of the day number na 50,000 sí mi nípa ọdún kan mi lè mú jù lọlẹ̀. That is what we mean by how well can you cope with risk? So jẹ́ pé ó ṣe wá lọ́tẹ̀ ìlú yẹn. Please should I tell us something? For all of us here, anybody that really wants to do business, you must be ready for that. I'm sorry to say. Business is either what profit or àdúrà náà lápapọ̀ ọ̀gá ẹgbẹ́ pẹ̀lú ohun láti sọ yìí ọlọ́run àná wà lọ́wọ́ kó jẹ́ profit but I will tell you for one by the time you go into business everything for you mọ̀ profit wà oṣù míì wà lọ́dọ̀ tí wà gbọ́dọ̀ yẹ pé ask for wíwé bí o tiẹ̀ lè bọ́ sí profit àgbọ̀dọ̀ lose ṣe ti understand so now but what this is now saying is that sharing èrè lórí investment money increases with your ability to absorb risk. Ó láwọn ọ̀bùnmí irú shares tá à ń sọ yìí ìmí dey grow 100% but it will require you to take a lot of risk. Ṣé ẹ ti understand? A new confidential report tí wọ́n ti jáde ní financial projected financial fund, and they said invest your money 10 million. We assure you it will grow by 20% in 3 months. Ó ṣe é ṣe, but ó possible now ó lọ di other way. The carpet is always mo ti sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan treasury bill certain fixed investment our fixed investment ẹgbẹ́ thank you mommy for those fixed investment they will come to you and say bring your money o lè jẹ́ bank financial institutions oríṣiríṣi company náà máa ń ṣe come to us ó starting lágbára ọlọ́run ẹ fún wa ní 1 million lẹ́yìn ọdún kan ẹ wá gba 1,150,000 150,000 lórí ẹ̀ that is 15% interest ìyẹn dájú ẹ lọ lé ẹ lọ sùn lóṣooṣù ẹ lè máa wọ pépà ní pé sọ́ṣà wà bẹ́ẹ̀ you don't need to do anything and sincerely I will say for many of us here that is what we should key into now kò sàgbára àti mọ́ sáré kiri mọ́ nìsín that is what we should key into now in fact some places will so structure it for you that tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ lóṣooṣù tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ lóṣù mẹ́ta they can do it for you ṣé we understand the thing will now be okay grandma oṣù mẹ́ta ti tán ṣé kárọ̀ lè lọ́wọ́ àti àgbàsán owó yín padà iṣẹ́ tẹ́tẹ́ kàn máa ṣe kọ́ọ̀lù oṣù mẹ́ta okay o ti tó báyìí ẹ̀rọ agbówó mi àmọ́ àbí àké don't worry roll it over and the next 1 day or 2 days what you are expecting is your interest that is what you should be keying into now as I said for the age here please don't do anything on the internet ẹjọ okay daddy.
So treasury bill ṣé àwọn finance share capital company tó ní lè manage the well or bank manager so you invest in treasury bill.
Now treasury bill daddy it is everywhere you can get it in commercial banks you can get a broker to help you and even investments you can go to microfinance bank you can go to companies they can do it for you but what I will only advise is that any place take back to your number 1 ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ bí tẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́ ẹjọ́ ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ bí tẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́ not only should you know the place ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ẹnìkan nínú ẹ̀ okay ẹ̀ for company yẹn but ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mẹ́nìkan like ó lè má jọ ọmọ yín o but bí ẹ tẹ́ ṣáà kàkiri ẹ̀ tá a máa ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ó necessary. Even if it's a company, you must know the owner of this. You understand? But if it's going to be normal treasury bill, they get 2 ways treasury bills. Either you buy from the primary market or the secondary market. Primary market, rather through bank or central bank. Secondary market, any country that year, kò lè do the maturity date. Wọ́n ti wá bá àwọn báńkì ẹ bá certificate mi, ẹ bá mi ta. So license àbí certificate ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ CBA bank àti ìgbàlọ́wọ́ ẹni ní bank àwa ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ta fún ẹ̀yìn but you also know rate tẹ̀ máa wá nígbà ẹ̀ka ní 15 lẹ́ni ẹgbàá àbí ní ṣíù tí bank bá máa wá bá a ta torí kó fẹ́ wò pàjáwìrì ọ̀gá a máa bẹ́ẹ̀ ta 15% padà máa fún ẹ lórí ẹ̀rọ ṣe ẹ̀ understand 13% ṣé wà fi sílẹ̀ báńkì wa lè mú dání lókè àwọn náà lè mú dání sódà àbí ẹ̀rọ yẹn 2% yẹn tábà fẹ́ gbà àdìsí wa tọ́lọ́ bá dẹ̀ ṣe tó bá dẹ̀ rẹ̀ nígbà tó wá èmi náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ àpẹẹrẹ ṣe àmọ́ mi ẹ má bínú kò sí primary nílẹ̀ ṣe ẹ̀rọ secondary we need the only order àwọn 12% náà fún un ṣe ẹ̀ ti understand tó bá dẹ̀ sùn tẹ́ni yẹn àyùn ẹni náà 12% náà dá kí ni báńkì ṣe financial examination ṣe wọn nìyẹn ibẹ̀ náà ti ń mèkì gbogbo income rẹpẹtẹ tí àrídán mèkì and ẹni tó gba 12% yẹn bóyá bí wọ́n ti ń bọ̀ bóyá 5% lọ fún wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ inú wọn á dùn ṣe ẹ ti understand so that's why we say it is the level of knowledge you have but for those fixed investments in as much as it's a known place ó save ju shares lọ shares tendency wà láti make more but there is the risk of losing also So you understand, there is risk of missing also. God will help us. Any other question? Sorry, I think we have passed our time. Oh, sorry, that's actually one time, yes. Okay.
Thank you very much for all your teachings. Please, I want you to educate us better or more on money markets.
Okay. Since Grandma requested, money market. Simply, I will go to the place where we sell money or near money and buy it. Ọjà owó with the name. Why do we call it ọjà owó? Owó is not only physical cash. Hope you know. And she transfer means if I transfer to that bank nìkan, ó ṣàgbọ́dọ̀. Owó náà ni, I dey project fully. Owó náà ni. So it is a market whereby we trade these things. Now, the trade in money is as good as this. When you get money, and the money is the engine to make money. And the name of the money you make on money, OPO, it can be dividend, it can be interest, it can be commission. Check it. These are the ways you can make money. Now, when you have money, you can put money to work. Financial institutions in Ghana ṣe gan nìyẹn. They collect money from àwọn tó ní láti make it available fáwọn tó nílò ẹ̀. But ṣe ni wọ́n ṣe ń gbà yẹn tán fún ẹnìkejì commission àti interest òun lọ láàrin yẹn. Tẹ́lẹ̀ bá gbà lọ́wọ́ yín mọ́mí, I will tell you, give me this much. I will pay you, for instance, ẹ fún mi ní 1 million. Mo lè nílò àpò 15% lẹ́yìn ọdún kan. What I've done is that you have invested your money with me. You are expecting 150,000. Lay only 1 million lẹ́yìn ọdún kan. Now, for me that I collected it, it now belongs to me to now challenge it in a number of ways, depending on who I am. Èmi tí mo jẹ́ olókòwò ní tì, màá gbà sí orí okòwò mi. Màá dẹ̀ ní lẹ́yìn ọkàn mi pé bójú tó 1 million wọ́n ni wàá fi dá padà. 1 million plus iye tó ti promise ẹni tó kówó yẹn fún ẹni wàá dá padà. Èmi láti fi yẹn ti calculation ti tèmi. That is one aspect. That is partnership investment only. And I will tell you for a fact, we do this no more for them. Check on Oye, you do it in places that you know that you are sure of where the money is coming from. Because wàhálà náà tó o bá lọ gba ntí ò yẹ kó o gbà. Hope you understand that area. Once you collect what you are supposed to collect, o ti mix nǹkan tó yẹ kó o mix wọ́n ti tiẹ̀ wàhálà. So we are very selective about it also. Shall we understand that? So once me I take that, it's in two ways. I'll put it to the business, and in a way, it also helps me. Rather than kí n máa lọ sáwọn ibi tí ó ti lè wọ́n jù láti lọ gba lóògùn, I will make use of that, and I'm sure of the source as well. But for the banks, I'm looking at that with you. Shall we understand? Bọ́n ṣe ń gbà níbí báyìí, immediately wọ́n á mẹ́ni tí wọ́n á fún at a higher rate. So that is how money market is. Àwọn náà láàrin ara àwọn banks, they collect from themselves o. They call it interbank market. Àwọn náà máa yára wọn lówó. In fact, as funny as wọ́n yára wọn lówó 48 hours, 24 hours, because they have a position in the central bank. Ṣé ẹni kó ṣe wá ní báńkì? For instance, I go to bank, gbogbo everybody. Ó hàn sí central bank. And there is a portion of total deposit everybody to the bank. So the bank is compelled to keep at the central bank. That's the liquidity ratio. One, you for what right you it starts with send as at now. For instance, when we go bank money 100,000, we go back 30,000 in rent. CBN and your one debit is account. Check them. I'm going to take the money. So balance it with one hour and come from 1 year to buy those wallet, 1 year. And bank or gbọ́dọ̀ go below a threshold táwọn tó wà ní threshold ti bá ti gbé balance wà ní central bank ago rate tó nígbà náà wọ́n ti lọ́ọ̀rẹ̀ láwọn banks káàkiri àwọn tó wà ní threshold ìbàdàn àwọn banks wọ́n á pè wọ́n pé give us so much overnight lẹ́nu pé á dá padà fún lọ́la ìmí give us 48 hours just to cover their position so that àṣírí òde fi pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí báńkì. So that is the money market. Money market is the place where we trade money. Tọrọ shares is a capital market ló. Capital market in the sense that gbogbo owó tẹ̀ fi ra shares ní capital ní stock exchange yẹn. You are actually contributing to the capital. Tọ́ fi ń rọ business lè bára share wọn. Torí ẹ̀ at a particular date when they want to declare their dividend tó bá declare dividend tẹ́ bá ní share ní bí àṣà that point in time wọ́n á fi dividend wọ́n á fi láre ìwé. Ààrẹ èrè tó tún wà nínú stock exchange yẹn mà if you can keep cool tẹ́ bá ní shares to come to buy declare dividend when they declare that dividend they will give you a certain dividend based on the amount of shares you have with them. So God will grant us knowledge but what I can say is this for any one of us who are interested you can see me I can still engage us further but it is something that is as simple as if you don't want the wahala of what is going on you can go for the fixed investment that one is very stable but if I talk about America for young people they believe that I can get money but you know a younger person only ṣọ́ọ̀kì láti gba àìbá àmọ́ tó wọ́n bá gbòòrò ìdí the other way shey you understand so that's the difference but for old people please I will advise wọ́n tó kọ̀ náà sí sẹ́yìn ẹ̀ mẹ́jọba wò lẹ̀ it is much shey you understand but if you feel that you are strong enough because for some investments the best thing tó bá ti síbẹ̀ ṣáà tó bá gbé ṣáà tó because the more you look at it you be looking at it ṣe mistake na. I've asked us to call one of my brokers one day. In fact, they don't seriously. If you are to go sit down, if you kí ni gbogbo ilé rẹ̀? Ilé àárín kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní òótọ́, but àṣà ìlú máa sọ̀rọ̀. Ilé báwo ni kí ni ṣe ló ṣe é nígbà ìlú sí? Nǹkan ẹ̀yin náà múra sí because there is ó ní mímọ̀. Ẹ̀yin náà múra sí. And we thank God. Over the 3 months everything there to move o tún yí kálẹ̀ yẹn ti ṣe kíní báyìí báyìí wá mi ì ṣe mọ́ ẹnu wá òótọ́ nǹkan tó ti lọ́pàá yẹn pọ̀ but nǹkan tó kéèyàn ní lórí ẹ̀ tó ti yọ ní ìsìn èèyàn ò ní ní but it requires the ability to withstand that risk torí ẹ̀jẹ̀ ni owó tí a bá ti save school bẹ̀yẹn notice that you are getting there for capital appreciation kì í ṣe owó tí yẹn fi ń jẹun yẹn fi sí stock exchange check together so irú kàtà àfọlẹ́ kan irú ọmọ tó bá bí ẹ̀ bá ti síbẹ̀ gba náà cooperative tí ẹ̀ bá bá ẹ̀ ká irú àwọn tó yàn á advice yìí kó lọ fún owó yẹn sí nìyẹn in that case ọmọ yẹn fẹ́ ọkọ̀ ó ti save for good night after that owó cooperative yẹn padà ó fẹ́ ọkọ̀ because ìyá ti máa gé tiẹ̀ èmi ni mo stand in the garage of àbí èmi ni mo jẹ́ kan fún ẹ ní owó ìlú bábà mi lóbi jọ ìyẹn báyìí ló wọ́n wá ní on the báyìí. So God will help us. Any other questions, please, or any other need for clarification? Okay, Adani.
Any information on clear dividends?
Okay, on that one, sir. It's part of what I would say affected money. Artificial for too long. So tracing the Sherpa level, but tracing has been a challenge. I know it has formed a part of a lot of unclaimed dividends. What I would still advise you is, of course, the good thing with shares, if the thing of actually certificate, you can still claim your thing any day, anytime. Okay, sir.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
But unclaimed dividends, there is a caveat.
Praise the Lord.
There is a caveat. During the regime of the war that I've left,
and having in the beginning of this one, all unclaimed dividends for certain years has been written off into the government account. Yes. So it affected me too because I couldn't find some. So when I went to my stockbroker account, he said to some points that have been cleared, that have been related to the treasury.
Now, please, any investment, I think it's just an advice, any investment, since we know that we can put money to different use, don't let us trivialize it. Don't let us trivialize it. Because follow matter. Now it is easier because it's all online. Once you have your CSCS number, you can trace easily. And you can even drop your account number to say, okay, I have to see account right. So please, any investment, whether shares, whether stocks, whether fixed investment, make sure you are current about it. Ethical make sure you are current profile. Know the status. So bá ti di maturity, ẹni ti pé nǹkan báyìí fún lọ́dọ̀ ni mo ti mature. It's your money. You are not asking for what is out of the ordinary. Thank you, sir, for the clarification. Sorry, any other question? Okay. So at this point, I believe I've been able to cover what I have, but please, I'm still available after here for any clarifications you want to make. God will help us. We'll discuss and see whatever we can come up with. So thank you all very much for your audience. And I pray. Sorry, please, a hand up.
Actually, apart from individual, the clarification I want is ministry like ours and some other churches. What is your advice to them as far as financing and wealth creation is concerned? Oftentimes, let me come out. Every time I come into this compound, I see space of land towards down there and all those other things. I always have a feeling that what if something can be done? But when we are trying to make a list the other time of income generation, agric is one of those things we listed. So are many churches and ministries, career and present, we have land, uncultivated, and all those. So what's your advice for individuals and for ministries on wealth creation? Thank you.
Okay, I think in this regard, I will need to refer to the executive committee. You know, this is more or less in power. So you understand? Not even one of them can say the education guy. I know in churches we do have business meeting. Yes, I'm sorry to say I'm surprised in guys we don't have business meeting. And it's not out of place. Not only to turn this place to an agric plantation, no, that's not what we're saying. But there is a need for what we should be calling a business meeting. Not because we are turning the church to a trade place, no. It's not because of that. Let's see, for instance, let's look at the Redeemer's, the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Let's look at Living Faith Church. So you understand? I pick those two particularly. There are other big churches, but why am I picking those two? It's a typical example of how to create wealth. Let's look at it very well. At least I used to know when the two of them, you know, they moved across Ilorin in their history. So if you look at their history, both of them passed through Ilorin. And I know I was a member of Ilorin at a point. And I heard one or two things about the while I was in the school. So we should visualize it as something that can grow beyond us. It is something very possible. But it's not something we can exhaustively give insights to here. Because you see, such insights are not things that then you can grow that. That's no. It requires sitting down, discussing, agreeing before we can make certain pronouncements. So at least we can keep starting from there, which of course is a product of the question we have from you, sir. So it is something we can look at, and I believe God can use that for something also great within the ministry. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to give a last contribution. And I don't just want the ministry to take it just like this. I tried as much as possible for what the ministry has done in that area to enter into our history book. It was impossible. We have done what we call a new generation for this ministry before. And I particularly wish that entered into the history book of the four president. So that, because if we are not mentioning it now, people will not know. But if it can enter, and the younger generation will know that the younger generation had this mindset before. But I'm saying it now that the executive should look at it very well. It's a very good thing that we have. If anybody wants any information on that, I have something that I can give them. Just like you said, sir, the ministry can do many opportunities, but we can now take it up from here. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Sorry, I believe okay, good. At least we have executive members here, so that's good. Any other contribution? Thank you so much for the audience. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I pray we will not only listen to this, it will make great impact in all of our lives in Jesus' name. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ọjọ́ tí ìjọba máa ṣe oríire ọjọ́ kan náà ni. Sometimes ago, a couple of years ago, I had a large sum of money with me. I entered into my Oga's office and I met one teacher there who was discussing, ethical fund. I was very simple. I invested almost 500,000 into it. The first 2 years, I collected lump sum of money. I still kept the money there. No, I mean, that was all. Your 500,000 like that. Now, 2024, if you see what he has given us today, in fact, I'm a brother of everything, honestly. What he has done today, we require that you use money to buy it. If you make use of what he has given us, 2024, during Brother Ogunsola's regime there, I think something like this was organized for men only. And a few of us pick it up and we thank God today. It has been working. So it's a very reliable advice that they are giving to us. So it is for you now to pick any of those areas that they are back for. Only active in all 1 million. So you have to choose any of it. So he has told us which way is good, which way is not good. So I want to, on behalf of us here as the commandant for this year, Bradley, has he gone? Okay. So I want to say thank you very much. I can say yes. I pray for him every day. I pray for him every day and the company there. Very good. So I pray, I don't know how many guys know what this is. You see that I'm on company to pray, you know that some names, when you hear it, you run. But theirs is not, theirs is not like that. So I pray, as we have listened to it, you see how to say, I don't know how to do it. Okay, what about it? I want to hear that so see I want to come, I don't know that. This is, we are celebrating resurrection. I know God will restore what you have lost, in as much we are still alive.
Adé Gbàgbé gbogbo Jésù Kristi. So please, your money, think of it, pray over it, and know where you are going to put it. It's a bad truth. There are so many fake organizations today gathering money before you do it like that. And then go and support us. So we are closing this session. We will not be able to go into the along with God. Along with God is always continuing. And the next thing is we go for food. Food is ready. And I've asked them from the kitchen, they said it's ready. No, it's ready. Check out the table and I'm casting this food ready. Okay. Now, if you go there to eat now, hello children, listen. Please, our Tamuki hostel of the girls and the sisters